You're awfully close.
Is it
It's
close? Oh.
It seems
Here,
to be.
I'll move it away.
Hold on, wait. No. Let me make sure before I say Wendy Bell's live. Oh, no, it's fine. It's just in this side by side. Oh, Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Good morning. Okay, so we are deciding that it's an awful lot of my face right now. So I'm going to move it.
No, don't mess with the camera because once I'm out of the
Well, get out of it and let's see if it's way too much me. That's a lot of me.
No, it's not. It's got the logo. It's got you. It's got the flag. It's fine. Oh, I said the F word. It looks fantastic.
Good morning, everybody. How are you?
Oh, I got a new ad.
Did you? Mine still hasn't kicked in.
People are fighting.
People are fighting in your
there's
ad?
the Clorox in the gas tank.
Yep. I want to get these. I told you I got to get these knee things.
That thing's on, correct?
Yes. Don't do that. Why would you do that at 9:01:30? That's really not very helpful. Hello, Muskogee? Can you believe I've never said that word before? That is really sad. It's kind of like Shalakta. I'm just going to say. But it's great to see you. Sorry. Good morning to everybody. Look at that. Ooh, I got something that looks swampish. Oh, it's a flashlight in a swamp? Ooh, and it's a baton that hurts people.
Yeah, you can whoop ass with that flashlight.
And then you can open it up and there's like a knife, a shiv.
in case you're hold off to prison.
How you doing? I got a birthday cone.
Here
are the knee sleeves.
What?
They say they're going to turn back the clock 20 years. My knee sleeves. All this guy's doing squats and lunges with them. Yeah, I'll skip that. Let's look at us. We're better to look at. Hi, everybody.
Well,
Brock didn't like my sassy new top for
Brock said nothing about your top.
Don't you like my sassy top?
It's fantastic.
Isn't that cute? It's got a little ruffle. I know.
Yeah.
Right?
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to wear the same one.
Yeah.
But I thought, how awkward.
Right. So you just decided you'd go with that frumpy look. That's good.
I went with the comfort look. There's a difference. I only have so many clothes.
Thank you, Darius. Darius knows how to treat a woman.
What'd Darius say?
Love the top.
Butt kisser.
This is not complicated, right? I keep telling people this show, we do, who I am, it's not complicated.
I did buy you two shirts.
You did. You were at Costco and you saw two shirts that you thought would be a great way to conceal, carry, hide. I have a lot of clothing that is,
would work.
We say more form-fitting?
Shall we say? Everything you have is form-fitting. You have to shop in the boys section.
Oh, my God.
Would a girl's extra large fit you?
It depends.
Like
I wear a lot of extra smalls and I wear a lot of child larges. So it's because the girls, my egos.
The Bopsy twins.
My egos
Brock needs a clothing sponsor.
Right. I need a clothing sponsor, right? Anyway, it's great to be with you guys. Let's talk. We're going to talk a little bit of Hunter. We're going to read you guys his opening statement because it's so focused on everything that is wrong with where we are in this country right now. And Brock and I were talking about this. We talked about a lot of things before the show today, right?
Yeah.
We did. And one of the things we talked about was how there's this fine line between feeling sorry for
empathy
and just really being disgusted by.
And with him,
Hunter
you feel
Biden.
both.
And you're in this weird middle zone where the human being in you doesn't want to see anybody's life go down the toilet and believe that their dad and the corruption involved in it was what started it, right? But then you're a grown-up, my man. And if I expect my 15-year-old sons to take responsibility for the decisions they make.
Well, I think I'm
done with your freaking excuses.
Can I put Hunter on the couch?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
I think
Brock.
I think I have empathy for him because you are molded by the things that happen in your life and the people that come into your life. And his dad is all about Joe, about the image and the power. And Hunter got swept up in this. But you are also responsible for your own choices.
Right on.
The first line of Coke you do, the first joint you smoke, the first drink you have. That's on no one but you.
Yeah, don't get us started into the hookers and all that jazz, human trafficking, and
can you really?
Like, ugh. But so we're going to talk about that.
He's a ladies' man.
I do not know how it's going to come out. I've got real poof.
Is it going to be like
how it's going to come out today?
Blah.
I don't know. We'll find out together, won't we?
This is exciting. This is exciting.
Why?
We'll all find out.
We'll all find out. Well, what do you think I say every day? I'm like, I have no idea. What's
it's not Dr. Brock, but Brock knows he's right on. Because Wendy likes when he talks in the third person.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we're converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Hello, America, and beyond the fruited plain. Welcome home to the Wendy Bell radio program. Common sense, conservative values 5 days a week. 15 busy broadcasting hours of fabulosity. We give it to you. We give it to you in podcast form, Wendy Bell Radio, wherever you get your favorite listening materials. We give it to you online in a live stream of the entire 3 hours, commercial breaks included. Wendy Bell Radio Network app. Go there. We're just thrilled that you're here. And thank you very much for being a part of the program. We're going to talk a little Hunter. We're going to talk about Joe's trip to the border. We're going to talk about the DOJ's continued weaponization against January 6th. Anything involved with January 6th, 3 years later, we're still doing this. Yes, because the clock is ticking. Time is running out, and they know it. So thank you for being here. Pull up a chair. Welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. We got a serious issue in this country, ladies and gentlemen. I think we can agree that is an understatement. You just have to ask, which one are you talking about now, Wendy? And you'd be correct, because we are awash in filth. And I don't think it takes a mom to see the moral decay in this country, to see the normalizing of things that are abnormal. And I blame Barack Obama. I do. I blame Barack Obama for opening the door to this idea that the United States of America needed to change, that there needed to be a transformation. There was an ideological shift that we were all supposed to get on board with, whether you wanted to or not. And when you didn't get on board, it became mandatory. It's sort of like the jab. You know how they floated the jab? Oh, we got this thing. This thing is going to be great. We think it's going to be fantastic. Everybody should go out and get it. There was hesitation. Well, no, we really think you should get it. Now we really think you ought to get it. And if you don't get it, we're going to hold something back from you. 2, look, if you don't freaking get this, we are going to ruin your life. And it's going to be a cold, dark winter of death, right? Sort of the strategy. Browbeat you over with ideas that suck. But deeply ensconced in this new progressive world order is the idea that we ought not take responsibility for anything we do, particularly if we're on the left. Get pregnant. We all know how people get pregnant. This is not a mystery. There are many ways, fail-safe ways, to not get pregnant. But should you happen to get pregnant, don't take responsibility. take action. That's what they preach. Hunter Biden yesterday stood before House Oversight. Well, sat. And he read a very calculated, carefully worded opening statement. And he wants everybody in this country to believe that he is a victim, that his father is a champion, a hero, that he is blameless in any of Hunter Biden's misdeeds, personal foibles, addiction, etc. And that what we're all going through is really this crazy witch hunt that's driven by political animus and an overarching MAGA idea that is a threat to democracy. There you go. I have just summarized the garbage. And I would be lying to you if I said I did not feel conflicted about Hunter Biden. Because I think the Biden family is a tragic dynasty of mediocrity, of average intelligence at best, coupled with dreams of grandeur and the road to success that involved corruption and blackmail and bribery. And now all of this hangs in the balance. And these people want you to forget what you've heard. They want you to forget the scathing banking documents. They want you to forget the whistleblowers, the people who've stepped forward with firsthand knowledge, who out of duty to country, knowing full well that they were going to destroy their lives, that duty superseded their self-preservation. And Hunter Biden yesterday directed his comments about this wild, crazy impeachment inquiry, this giant waste of time, as being something politically driven. America just wants America back. We just want people we can believe in. We're hungry for someone to tell the truth. We're big boys and girls. We can take it. We see it. We feel it every day. We try to dismantle it when it comes home with our children from school. It's pervasive. It is inescapable. It is the reality of what these people have done to our country. And you don't get to pass go every single time and have somebody pick up your pieces. What Hunter Biden wants is for you to trust him, to believe him. The man has done nothing to garner any kind of trust or believability. We've all watched and cringed as the stories of his personal life have devolved into the pages of tabloids and even the mainstream media that tried desperately to cover it up. But when those tragic misdeeds and sidesteps started intertwining with his father, which happened years and years ago, I believe that is when Hunter started going downhill. When he was used by his father to be the front man, to make the connections, to finalize the deals, to be the banker of the family. And I know somewhere along the way, Hunter Biden realized that Joe Biden's love of Joe Biden and his perceived notion of who he always dreamed of being, which is fictitious, superseded his love for Hunter. And knowing that someone who should love you more than anything in the world does not. And knowing that that person who should love you more than anything in this world loves all of the lies and the garbage more than you. The path to destruction becomes very clear. I had intended on reading to you his opening statement, but instead I just cherry-picked some words in the moments before the show went live today. These are some of them. He says Republicans have hunted his father, that this whole impeachment inquiry is a partisan political pursuit, MAGA motivated conspiracies, that this is a partisan house of cards and a frantic search to prove lies. He says that his dad, Joe, devoted his life to public service, trying to make this country better. And that these hate-filled conspiracy theories in this sham impeachment inquiry is nothing but baseless, destructive, and a political charade. That is a fine synopsis of the impeachment inquiries into Donald Trump and his ultimate impeachment. It is sad because, yes, there are big problems going on in this country. And the egos of the few seem to trump what is good for the many. And America awakens day after day to the reality that we don't matter. I want to matter. I want my children to matter. I want you to matter. I want the next generations who haven't even been thought of to matter the most. And that means carving into all of the suck and exposing what needs to be exposed so that you can make the best decisions for you and your family. That is where we are, ladies and gentlemen. No matter the debacle, no matter the headline, no matter the greed, the corruption, or the suck, that is where we are. When we come back, Hunter says, of course, his father never, ever, 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 ever was a part of anything. Well, we got 3 minutes, it says otherwise. Uh-oh. I got it for you coming up next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. This is the time to get in touch with Ireland Contracting, you guys. Totally. So we're going to get back up into the higher numbers here in southwestern land before time. We had like a 40-degree temperature drop yesterday. It was gnarly. And then we're supposed to bump up another 30 degrees tomorrow. Totally weird. Before spring actually is sprung, get in touch with Ireland Contracting and ask about new windows, because there is a deal going on for Wendy Bell Radio listeners who are in southwestern Pennsylvania to get new windows and to not have to pay any interest on that for 3 years. 0% interest, 36 months, which is a great deal. So whether you need double hung casement, vinyl, wood, you want to put in a bay window, those are beautiful. Whether you want to put in one of those, I think, what do they call them? Sun tunnels. So they're like a skylight, but you can't cut in up there. So they just bring in the natural light. It's so cool. All of this stuff is on the docket at Ireland Contracting, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. IrelandContracting.com, 0%, 36 months. Excuse me. Have them bring the home show to you. Give them a call. You're going to love them. You're really going to love them. I love people who stand by the work that they do. And that is exactly what they do. We have a new sponsor alert coming up at the bottom of the hour. And I think it's something that you're going to want to hear about.
Can I have a minute to take umbrage with something Wayne said?
Yes.
Was about empathy. Wayne says the snake has no empathy for any of you. Your empathy empowers them. Let me.
I hear what he's saying.
I do too, but
Yeah.
that's the difference between me and a snake. I can show empathy. Empathy does not, to me, empathy does not mean weakness at all. I think
there's an
empathy
awareness.
is straight.
There's an awareness and a connect.
Yeah,
connect there.
I feel empathy because he just wanted to be loved.
Well,
I don't feel empathy because he's a dirtbag.
The minute I stop feeling empathy, I'm in trouble. But it comes with that great challenge of making sure that you don't get rolled.
Right.
You know?
There has to be logic along with your empathy. to say that he's made these choices himself.
Right.
And he's taken advantage of what we've done.
Correct.
But I can still feel bad for him. Like, because if you put him on Dr. Phil's couch, the dude's a hot mess.
Right.
And
I mean, if you
it's
put me
because
on
of his
Dr.
parents.
Phil.
Yeah, you're a hot mess too.
I'd
But
be like, how much time do we have?
can we do like a monthly buy-in? I don't want to have to pay by the hour.
What is going on with my right eye? There's like a glob right here. Sorry, guys.
Boy.
Shut up.
Get it together, lady. Get it together.
We got 9,700 and growing. Let's go. We'll hit 10 here. No time.
But what about Rumbles?
All right, so I want to read you the beginning of Hunter Biden's statement before the House Committees on Oversight and Accountability and the Judiciary yesterday. He said, "I'm here today to provide the committees with the one uncontestable fact that should end the false premise of this inquiry. I did not involve my father in my business. Not while I was a practicing lawyer." When was that? "Not in my investments or transactions, domestic or international. Not as a board member and not as an artist."
Which his dad probably thanks him for the art thing.
Which is, never, he says. "You read this fact, blah, blah, blah. People stepped forward for more than a year. Your committees have hunted me in your partisan political pursuit of my dad. Ain't that rich? What?" So despite all of the evidence that we have painfully delivered to you day after day, month after month, and now, yes, year after year, Hunter Biden expects you to believe him. The guy who is unbelievable, the guy who is unreliable, the guy whose private life we know far more about than we should, wants you, demands that you listen to what he says. Stop this. It's very interesting because everything that Hunter writes in this is basically the left's desperate attempt to point fingers and to make other people accept responsibility for their failures. It's not on us. It's your fault. That's a serious problem in this country, ladies and gentlemen. When you make a mistake, when you make a decision, when you choose a path, you find out it's wrong. Hopefully you do it quickly, figure it out, fail fast, regroup, and start again. Do you know how refreshing it is to hear people say, "I blew it? That was mine? I'm so sorry. Please, won't you help me? Can we come together? Would you assist?" This is inherent in our nature. It's part of what we do. Help each other. That's not what their purpose is. And to, I'd say, refute Hunter's adamance that Joe never had anything to do with anything with his business, we have a little mashup for you. Enjoy.
I have never discussed with my son or my brother or anyone else anything having to do with their businesses.
President Biden met with at least 14 of Hunter's business associates while he was vice president.
Then Vice President Joe Biden had dinner with his son Hunter along with Hunter's business associates from Ukraine, Russia, and Kazakhstan. And the day after the dinner, a Burisma executive sent a note to Hunter, quoting, "Dear Hunter, thank you for inviting me to D.C. and giving an opportunity to meet your father and spend some time together."
Hunter's lucrative business dealings often included giving as much as 50% of his earnings to his dad.
The text read, quote, "I hope you all can do what I did and pay for everything for this entire family for 30 years. It's really hard, but don't worry. Unlike Pop, I won't make you give me half your salary."
His son, Hunter, joining the then vice president on the official visit to Beijing. Unknown to the press back then, Hunter Biden was forming a Chinese private equity fund, planning to raise money, including from Chinese investors. 10 days after the Biden's trip, Shanghai authorities issued the fund's business license.
And Hunter introduced me as, this is Tony, Dad, the individual I told you about that's helping us with the business that we're working on and the Chinese.
The email reads this way, quote, "At the moment, there's a provisional original agreement, the equity will be distributed as follows. 10 held by Hunter for the big guy.
I 1,000% sit here and know that the big guy is referencing Joe Biden. I met with the former vice president in person multiple times.
A newly revealed text message shows Bobulinski was apparently warned by business partner James Gillier, don't mention Joe being involved. It's only when you are face to face. I know you know that, but they are paranoid.
Chinese executives admitted to reporters that they were actually introduced to the vice president by Hunter Biden.
Hunter and the then vice president seen with a pair of Mexican billionaires. At the same time, Hunter had been working on energy deals in Mexico.
Joe Biden also had Hunter and his business partner fly on Air Force Two to Mexico.
His closest business partner, Hunter's, made at least 19 visits to the White House and other official locations, including a sit-down with then Vice President Joe Biden in the West Wing.
There is photographic evidence of Biden on a golf outing with both his son Hunter and a man called Devin Archer, who was another member of the Burisma board.
We also know that Devin Archer in that picture had a meeting in the White House, one-on-one meeting with Joe Biden about a week before they joined the Burisma board.
And that's just for starters. We could go on and on and on. So to reaffirm what we started with, let's go back to what he was saying. I am here today to provide the committees with the one uncontestable fact that should end the false premise of this inquiry. This is Hunter's opening statement. I did not involve my father in my business, not while I was a practicing lawyer, not in my investments or transactions, domestic or international, not as a board member, and not as an artist. Never. Now, do you believe any of that? Of course not. Take responsibility. Be a man. Scratch that. Just be a decent human being, Hunter. Because the walls are closing in. Because the lion's share of America knows damn well what has been going on. We know. You know that we know. And you're now in a mad scramble as the clock ticks forward. What is particularly offensive about his opening statement, though, is what he uses addiction for, as a crutch, as an excuse, as an avenue to step away from taking any kind of responsibility. That's unacceptable. That's a product of bad parenting. Facts. You are a product of the environment from which you are born. You can break free of it, or it can destroy you. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk about this Joe's checkup going to Walter Reed. One thing they didn't check was his brain. It's such a weird omission, isn't it? Let's go there as the narrative about mental fitness switches next on the Wendy Bell radio program. So, this is actually very interesting. So, this is a new sponsor. Have you guys ever heard of the SIRT food diet? SIRT, SIRT food diet. I hadn't, and then I started reading about this, and this is kind of neat, and I want to share it with you. This is something that was really kind of only popular among celebrities until now. You may know some kind of big names who've actually followed this diet. A world famous singer, I guess we're not allowed to say their name, but she reportedly lost 100 pounds on this exact same, what'd you say, method in 2019. Or maybe you've heard of a certain mixed martial artist, Conor McGregor, who claims to have used this diet as well. Or world championship boxer David Haye. He credits his amazing shape to the SIRT diet. So now the two international best-selling authors who created the SIRT food diet, they're Glenn Matton and Aidan Goggins, they have a new, even more incredible way to get these potent SIRT foods to all Americans by combining them into one revolutionary and exceedingly powerful drink. So you can get all the benefits of the diet by just drinking it. All right. It's called the Ultimate Cert Juice. Ultimate Cert Juice. It was designed to help you lose weight, support your overall health, and give you more energy to do the stuff that you love. Sounds awesome. Okay. I'm getting some shipped to my house, and we're going to do this together. In fact, I'm going to make Brock be my guinea pig here. Since you're a loyal listener, and if you want to try this with us, I think mine will probably come tomorrow or over the weekend. I want you to go to GetCert, S-I-R-T, GetCert, like dirt with an S, getcert.com/Wendy, and you're going to get $20 off right away. You're going to get an exclusive discount, getcert.com/Wendy. And we're going to put all this information up. Hopefully, Brock, I forgot to remind you of this. I beg your pardon.
It's already up.
Oh my God, I love you. Okay. So getcert.com/Wendy, $20 off. If you want to do this with Brock and ostensibly me, we could split it in half and try it together. I think it's going to be interesting. So why not?
Why am I always the guinea pig?
You're not always the guinea pig. You're not always the guinea pig. I thought you would appreciate something that would
Is it because I'm husky?
No, that would give you more energy. that would make you feel maybe, shut
It's
up.
because I'm husky, right?
It's not because you're husky.
Or you're right, bulky.
Whatever. I got some parts I could shrink a little bit. We all have a little. I have some zhuzh. I got some squish. Do you think there's any more coffee? I'm feeling the need.
Oh boy!
Tell them about Crescent Mountain real fast.
That means bathroom time later. Yeah, hopefully our Crescent Mountain coffee arrives soon. Wendy Bell Radio Patriot Blend, which is my favorite. The Shizzle blend. Go to crescentmountaincoffee.com, I believe. And thank you, Sean 487 for the donation. Yeah, the Shizzle's really good if you like cold brew. The Patriot Blend, and when you open it up, it just smells really good. Like I said,
so good.
I gave him a business idea 2 days ago when I said he should get that scent in a candle because I'd light it every day.
It's
But
something.
the Shizzle, try it in. If you get the Shizzle, try it in a cold brew. It's fantastic.
Getcert.com/Wendy. I like trying things with you. We're going to do it together, right? Why not? If you're interested.
Should taste ghost peppers.
Ghost peppers?
Yeah,
no thanks.
it would be the one chip challenge thing again.
Yeah, burn your face off, and then you'll lose weight because you'll have blisters inside your mouth.
I'll tell you what.
And you won't want to eat anything.
When we get to 40,000 followers,
oh no,
I'll do the one chip challenge live.
Ew, nobody even knows what that is.
Yes, they do.
I don't even know what that is.
It's that extremely hot chip that
you have to say
you're not allowed
hot. Are you going to say it like that? Are you going to say hot?
It's
super hot. Come on.
I say that about ladies.
She's hot. Well, we'll have to see. 40,000, that's a big sell. We'll see if he can make it.
You have a month to get to 40,000. So share the show.
Look at that. Look at the gray.
That's getting fixed.
Look at that.
That's getting fixed.
Wow. Why can't you go gray like back here? Why does it have to be right in the front of your face?
But look at mine.
Whatever.
Maybe I should get mine colored.
I've known you. Why would you do that? So stupid.
Just the beard. Can you imagine if I had the beard?
Look at the hell that's going on over here. You know what I love about you guys, and this is the funny part about television, is they're so persnickety about all the little things that don't really matter. Like, you guys don't care. I love you.
Yeah, I won't do it live on the show.
I love you guys.
But I will do it live. You have so by March, is it 30 or 31 days in March? 31. Yeah. By March 31st, if we have 40,000 followers.
What's going on here? It's very asymmetrical. Damn it.
Yeah, it won't be at work because after about 5 minutes, you need to.
You just have to have some chocolate. I'll bring you a Hershey bar.
No, because it's not a pretty sight. After
I've seen you have a seizure. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
so
I'm talking about for the janitor.
Oh. Oh boy. You know, It was breaking news yesterday. We're like, holy mackerel. It is an unscheduled stop at Walter Reed. They put Marine One up in the air. They flew the chopper to Walter Reed with Joe Biden. Yeah, it was a physical. Okay. Guess what they didn't test? His brain, because that makes sense. We're going to watch the robot walk into bushes, right? We're going to watch him walk that. They're like, he's got arthritis in his spine. Well, he's got something going on. I got to tell you, something going on. Does he have arthritis in his mouth? Because he can't talk. He doesn't know where he is. Everybody knows what's going on. And the lie that they have to try to continue in the press briefings, it's so insulting. It's so insulting. Take responsibility. Here's the responsibility they should take. Look, Joe Biden was out to lunch the minute we floated him as a candidate. He was corrupt as balls and everybody knew it. So he decided to join on, and we could do our progressive global cabal, new liberal world order crap through him pretending he was doing it because he had no idea what the hell was going on. And Jill really wanted to be in the big house. So that's what ended up happening, right? And then when he became less useful, we decided to drip all of the corruption out just so you guys know what we have. Everybody good with that? Okay, we'll see you tomorrow. Break. That would have been something I would have enjoyed. Just tell the truth. You got to love that the media are sitting there in this press briefing room and they're like, we're going to get some details. No, you're going to get propaganda. You're going to get the narrative. You're going to get the lies. You're going to get the cover-ups, the smoke screens. You're going to get the delays, the stonewalling, the slow walking. And it's insulting. And I'm freaking done. This isn't even about lying about war, lying about expenditures, or lying about the border, or lying about that sort of stuff. It's just basic, intrinsic, inherent, easy crap. But what do we say? Liar's gonna lie. Once you start. Do you know how hard it is to have a relationship where you always tell the truth? To the point where it twists you in knots because you know it's better to lie for your own self-protection. That it's better for you. And then you know that if you do that, it'll keep you up at night and it'll eat you up and you'll be a ball of nerves because you have a conscience and you care. There are a lot of people out there who've sold out. They've sold out to a degree that I don't know is redeemable. Here's your story, dailymail.com. I love going to London to get the stories about the United States. This is where we are. The White House confirmed President Joe Biden did not take a cognitive test during his annual physical on Wednesday and insisted he, quote, doesn't need one. Doesn't need one. Well, far be it from me to tell you what was said. Let's hear from Karine Jean-Pierre herself because this is insulting. Go.
I think folks need to understand that the president passes, again, a cognitive test every day. If you look at what a clinical cognitive test is actually, what it actually does, it is a 15-minute appointment that is administered by someone that most of the time people don't actually know. And the president has a team of doctors that is with him 24/7. And he is able to do the work every day that is rigorous, that is more rigorous than it would be for any 15-minute clinical appointment.
That's not the question, Karine. Why didn't he have a cognitive test? Dude's 81 years old. It's natural. We got to make sure the guy's in charge. He's obviously not. And so when a reporter says, hey, Karine, why no cognitive test? She says, well, the cognitive test, it's really just a 15-minute thing. And it's by somebody you don't know. And that's really not valuable when he's got a whole team of hacks around him who will lie with impunity and right to your face. Next question. Is that good enough for you? Do you hear the spinning? That's wheels spinning, trying to come up with something to say. I want somebody in the audience. I'd pay them $1,000. All right, I'll throw it down right now. $1,000 to anybody in the press pool who stands up and does a Princess Bride and goes liar. I would be like, oh my God, you're my hero. Here is $1,000. Thank you very much. But she's not done. She's not done lying. I've got another audio soundbite from her. But hold on. Let's get back to the Daily Mail. Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre brushed aside concerns that the 81-year-old isn't fit for a second term. He wasn't fit for a first term. He wasn't fit ever. He was the poster child of mental mediocrity at best. He had to lie constantly, right? Nobody's sitting here thinking the guy is Einstein. But we all know what we all know. Karine Jean-Pierre dismisses the need for a cognitive, despite the Department of Justice calling him an elderly man with a poor memory in the special counsel report that got them all ticked off. His doctor, she said, including the neurologist, did not believe that he needs one, she said. Folks need to understand that the president passes a cognitive test every day. No, he doesn't, which is why he's on vacation 40% of the time. And when he is around, he's out to lunch and they call a lid on his day by one. Karine, please. I want you to hear audio soundbite number 2. You know, if we're gonna have Walter Reed, you're gonna have Marine One drop him off on the roof. It's gonna be this big deal. Everybody's thinking about the guy. He's obviously old. Why don't we talk to his doctor? Well, where's this Kevin O'Connor guy? He's been part of his life for a while. Let's get Kevin O'Connor, Dr. O'Connor, his presidential physician, his guy. Why don't we get his guy? Because we got all the other guys from the other presidents. We got to talk to them directly. This is where the spin starts really spinning. Go.
Why is the president or your office not willing to make Dr. O'Connor available to us? Just answer questions here. Previous presidents have put their doctors up at that lectern. Why not?
So a couple of things, Andrew, and the president said that they thought he was too young. So, you heard from the president, he talked about this when he was asked. And so, look, as it relates to Dr. O'Connor, look, this is someone who has served under Republican and Democratic presidents in the White House as a military physician, extensively in the field as well. And so he is well respected, and let's not forget he did this with a team of 20 doctors who participated in completing the president's physical at Walter Reed. So it wasn't just him. There were specialists that were part of this as well, and I think that's important to note.
Totally, it's important to note that there were specialists. Right?
Was Dr. Jill one of them?
Right. All right. There was a lot of people. Look, I don't need a lot of people to tell me what everybody knows. Dude is gone. He's been gone. He's like Mitch McConnell. Don't just step down from leadership. Freaking retire. Do the world a favor. Move along. You suck. Everybody knows you suck. Look at the suck you've created and all the tentacles of your suckery. It's everywhere. Holy mackerel. And she's going to try to sit there and tell you, look, I'm not going to bring out his doctor. Just that there was a whole lot of people around him. Everybody was in the room. Why? This is like saying 51 former law, intelligence officials say, oh, it's a Russian plant. The laptop is fake. Well, did you see it? Well, now I don't need to see it. I mean, I've been told what to say. I mean, but you better listen to me because I'm a former FBI director. I was in the CIA. Right? This is Hunter Biden saying, believe me, listen to me. I've done nothing except being a lousy rat-fink business person, right? I've been bribed. I've been all sorts of stuff, but you should believe me when I talk to you. It's so ridiculous. If ever once, Karine Jean-Pierre stood up there and said, yeah, the open border thing, now that we're looking at it, probably not our best moment in this administration. And so now we're trying to work it out to fix this problem. All of a sudden, you'd have people going, wait, what? And then you'd have this coalescing of people who are like, okay, so let's fix the freaking problem. Build the wall. Get these people out. Let's go. But instead, no, there's no problem. The border is secure. Donald Trump did it. It's MAGA Republicans. Ew. If you cannot answer a simple question and you cannot do what is right, and the elephant in the room with Joe Biden's wellness is his cognitive ability. If you're not going to talk about that, right? Don't tell us that we need $60 billion more for Ukraine. Please. Please don't tell us that there's not a human trafficking debacle in our country that is the darkest stain on our national legacy ever. Please don't tell us that. And don't tell us that Joe Biden never talked to his family. Don't tell us to deny what we see, to disbelieve the evidence presented by people who know. Don't insult our intelligence. And that is all they do. Jean-Pierre also pushed back when a reporter asked for Biden's doctor. You heard that. Dr. Kevin O'Connor. There's not a precedent for bringing the doctor into the briefing room. I understand that it's happened a few times over the last 35 years, a couple of times, but it's actually not the precedent. We can't bring the doctor in because he would be forced to lie to you, to your face, and he might not be comfortable doing that. I'm comfortable doing it. Hell, I make a living doing that. It's all I know how to do. This other guy, I'm not so sure he's going to want to go out there on the record and tell you that Joe Biden is crisp as crisp can be, that he is seasoned, as Chris Coons calls him, wise, sage, knowledgeable, grandfatherly, if you will. No, what he is criminal. And he has sold America out to the highest bidders all over the world. That's not a conspiracy. That's not a MAGA talking point. That is just the truth. Doesn't it feel good to hear the truth? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, we got to get to this new narrative. And there's only one guy who can bring home the narrative. It's not about Joe Biden's mental aptitude. It's not about his anything. It's actually Donald Trump, who is unfit and unwell. And guess who's saying it? Howard Dean. Ah! Next on the Wendy Bell radio program. It really shouldn't be this enjoyable, but it is. Sorry. How you doing? You know, when Stacy Simkovich, who's Dr. Simkovich's wife, who really is the backbone of the Simkovich Concussion Institute, she reached out, and she's really good about sharing specific comments that they get from their patient reviews after they've had their concussion or traumatic brain injury treatment. And then they are asked to, tell an honest assessment of how we affected you. Are you better? The responses are breathtaking. But Stacy pointed something out about the Simkovich Concussion Institute that you need to hear because it's super important. You don't get a phone tree. You don't get an answering service. You don't get, go into our Google Documents and schedule your own appointment. You get somebody on the other end of the phone who is an expert, who knows the questions to ask and knows the questions that you need to have answered. And then they work with you intimately one-on-one to heal your brain. You're not alone. You're not guessing. At the time when you need somebody to hold your hand and say, we've got you and we're going to take care of you, that is the Simkovich Concussion Institute. 412-366-3700. 412-366-3700. Call. Ask. Heal. Do it, please. They're fantastic. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. Why does everybody call me during this hour Every appointment, everything.
Because they're just getting in. Do they not know that you're
a star?
Rumble radio star?
They don't realize. I know. Far be it from me
I don't
to
know
set
how
the
they
record.
could miss it.
Thank you. I know.
What are they thinking?
It's my axe.
Yeah.
My cross to bear.
Yep.
Oh my God, what is going on? I'm having some hair issues.
You mean what's going on?
What's going on? All right. I'm just
Get it under control by 10.
I know. I'm
Or
trying.
you'll get another text message. Can you comb that? Can you tame it?
So when Newsmax first was floating this, we want to take your show. Can you do something with your hair? And I'm like,
what? Comb it?
No.
Okay, here we go.
No. Really interesting to watch the reaction to the headlines. So we like to share with you headlines. I normally will tell you where I'm getting an article, how you can find it as well. And I'll read a paragraph or two. Not often will we read the whole thing, but the whole point isn't the story. It's the people's responses to the story, how it's covered, how it makes people feel, the reaction. And I think once you enjoy seeing the ripple effect, and once you get patient enough to see it coming your way, you get to really understand at a deeper level how many people suck, right? It is what it is. So Howard Dean, for some reason, he's on MSNBC, and he is floated out there, as the Supreme Court yesterday ruled, yes, we are going to get involved in this Donald Trump controversy of whether or not he had immunity while he was president and afterwards, which would totally throw a rock in the spokes of this whole drive to get him convicted of something. Doesn't matter what it, convict him of something. E. Jean Carroll, that wasn't enough of a stick, right? That was an appetizer. That was so stupid, it wasn't even funny, and everybody knows it. They need something to stick. So the Supreme Court yesterday says, you know what? We believe that we should probably wade into this presidential immunity thing regarding January 6th, We're gonna weigh in on it, and that's gonna throw the docket of this court case back a bit. MSNBC, all of their guests, they lose their collective minds. It's wild. And for some reason, they lead off last night with Howard Dean trying to flip the script here and say that it's actually Donald Trump, not Joe Biden, who is incompetent, unwell, unfit, unstable. And he's going to allege that Donald Trump in some way is rigging the primaries. He's out there, ladies and gentlemen, bogged down by 4 simultaneous indictments, 91 charges, hundreds of millions of dollars in penalties, while, simultaneously running for re-election leading up to the biggest day of it all, Super Tuesday. He totally has time to be rigging primaries. But this is Howard Dean, audio soundbite number 1. Go.
It's very different. Trump has more or less fixed the nomination. I mean, if you look at these primaries that are going on, the one tomorrow, for example, most of the delegates are already going to be decided by a convention, and which Trump is stacked. So I think there's going to be something like 16% of the delegates get assigned by the voters tomorrow, and the rest is inside baseball. He did exactly the same thing in the other states that he's running. He's rigged the election essentially so that only he can get enough delegates to win.
He's rigged it. Now, meantime, the banner below their picture says GOP. It says MAGA alert. 20% of GOP primary opposes Trump. Well, he got 80% or whatever he got, and 20% voted for somebody else. Do you understand just at face value how stupid those base decisions are? Instead of saying Trump wins, Michigan primary in a landslide, they carve out the 20% of the GOP voters who didn't choose Donald Trump when everybody else did, and they're going to make that whatever, right? So you see this. Then Howard Dean goes on though, because he's got to try to stick this landing, and he's going to say Nikki Haley has got to stay in this race Because something could happen to Donald Trump. This is what makes me uncomfortable. Something could happen to him, and she needs to be ready in the wings. Ew, listen.
Haley's hope has to be that she can present herself well as an alternative to Trump so that the convention can accept her should either Trump have a health problem, which he's certainly just as likely as Biden to have, if not more. I mean, I'll bet you anything that Joe Biden could beat the daylights out of Trump in a push-up contest, for example. And Trump knows it too, although if it was a cheeseburger eating contest, it might turn out differently.
Isn't that's insulting. It's juvenile. It's immature. It's below the frequency at which you and I are oscillating in a country in decline. And you want to talk about push-ups and cheeseburgers, you hack? This is who they go to on MSNBC. And he's not done. He wants you to know more than anything else. It's not Joe Biden. We're pointing fingers somewhere else. Donald Trump is unfit, unwell. My goodness, too unpredictable. Oh boy, listen.
It is a very different situation. You have here a guy who I think is unstable and requires attention. So he can't let go of this. There's not going to be no resignation. There's going to be no I will not seek and I will not accept. He's in it for the long run because he has to be for his psychological impairment.
Wow.
His psychological impairment. Wow, says the anchor. Wow. Well, you know what? As for psychological impairment, we are reminded of this, Howard Dean.
Not only are we going to New Hampshire, Tom Harkin, we're going to South Carolina and Oklahoma and Arizona and North Dakota and New Mexico. And we're going to California and Texas and New York. And we're going to South Dakota and Oregon and Washington and Michigan. And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House. Yeah!
I'm sorry, it's not supposed to be this enjoyable, but it is. It is. So just pay attention. Joe Biden, clearly the elephant in the room is his mental state. It was so the elephant in the room, they had to like squeeze around it in Kevin O'Connor's doctor's visit of Joe Biden yesterday to try to allege that he's just so with it. We didn't even think about doing that cognitive crap that we do on everybody else. It's gross. And poor Howard Dean. You know, sometimes it's okay to walk away from politics, and he should have a long time. Okay, so you guys too much fun. Okay, so hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program is on tap, and we're just kind of setting the table for you as the mainstream media literally has a meltdown over the high court saying, you know what, we need to get involved in this presidential immunity thing. We see danger on the horizon, and we got to wade in on this. Oh my, this is the sound of the media's head blowing up. I've got it for you next. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program. Oh my gosh. It's not supposed to be. Maybe it is. Maybe life is supposed to be this enjoyable. That was close. That was close. We're gonna go to, and it's so funny how that
derailed his campaign.
Oh my heavens! It was like that first televised debate with Kennedy and Nixon. Who was it? Was it them? Wasn't it? And he was all it wasn't
sweating.
It was sweating with the 5 o'clock shadow and looked like a derelict. And you're like, you might want to get some makeup. Anyway, let me tell you quickly about who do I want to tell you guys about? I think Texas Bullion. Let me tell you guys about Texas Bullion Exchange. You know, if you're going to get involved with somebody who knows about planning for the future and creating a nest egg, and it involves various investment opportunities, make sure that you talk about precious metals. I like to go with the experts. And that's why I've chosen the guys at Texas Bullion Exchange to be partners with as we talk about the future. They are super knowledgeable, so enthusiastic about talking to you, and they believe wholly in helping all of us get some precious metals into our 401ks, our IRAs, particularly if you're heavy stock or bond holder. Get it into your system here so you enjoy it growing over time. The safety, the security of precious metals cannot be overstated, whether it's platinum, palladium, it's silver, it's gold. You can get gold bars, gold rounds, gold coins. And it's really a cool way to save. And think about, like I said, think about maybe starting something with your grandkids with precious metals, buying coins every now and again for special events that they save and can enjoy watching the value multiply. TexasBullion.com. You see it on the screen, TexasBullion.com. That's how you can open the door to getting that investing guide. Or just call. I mean, I would call 855-927-5557. 855-927-5557. That is our number. They know exactly who you are when you call that number. And they're just great people. So TexasBullion.com. All right, so let's talk about where we're going here. Isn't it just a shame? We're going to talk about the border. We got, what's his face? Joe going to Brownsville, Texas. You have Trump going to Eagle Pass, and Eagle Pass is way more action. It's been flooded with migrants. It is the site of a lot of this invasion. Brownsville, not so much. So, it's the photo opping of Joe Biden and this administration. Flying in for a quick pic, that sort of stuff. That's what I'm getting out of it. And I'm pretty sure everybody else sees it too. $12.3. Let's see where you guys are on the Rumbles. 2.23.
That ain't bad for the first
That's
hour.
really good, you guys. That is really good. Let's set a goal. Let's set a goal for 2.5 for the end of this next segment. I'd love to have 2.5. If you're new to the program, we talk about Rumbles. They are sort of like Facebook likes, ways that you can send a message to Rumble and basically say, I enjoy the message here and I'm glad I'm here. And they see this.
We were 8 yesterday.
That's awesome. And so every day they do a leaderboard. So they show everybody. Invariably, we will have the fewest viewers on the leaderboard, but we will have the most active and engaged family members. And that's you guys. And they see it every single day. So that's what that thumb up is underneath the video box. And if you like that and you want to click on that, the thumb up, that is free for you to say yes or no. And then over left of that, if you hit join, go ahead and tell them what that involves, Brock.
Join is for our locals page where we put up the rundown every day. It shows you exactly what we're going to say, where we got the information from. And hopefully we're going to start putting some, like the Amos Miller brief is up there.
That's today, by the way, that rally in an hour and a half.
Yeah. And you don't have to subscribe.
Yeah.
If you don't, pretty much, I would say 99% of the content we're going to put up there is free.
Yeah.
Like we don't.
I got an email from a gentleman who was saying he loves what we do and he was adamant that he was not going to pay. And I wrote back, I said, you don't have to. We're not telling you to. Some people like to support with cash. Some people don't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It all shakes out to us in the end. So we're just grateful.
So thank you to everyone who has.
Yeah. I just paid the rent today for the studio and it's from you guys. So thank you. And even if you just show up and share us with a friend, thank you.
Yes. And
thank you.
You can rumble. Someone said, tell them about the rumbling on your TV. You can rumble on your TV now. So if you go up to where the timeline is, you just thumb over the remote over to I think it's the right on my screen. There's a thumbs up, thumbs down.
We're at 1239 or 239.
We'll take either.
I'd love to get to 2.5 in the next minute and a half. That would be awesome. That just pushes us along. And as long as we hit that 3, one of these days it's going to go bananas. And Brock and I aren't going to be paying attention to it. And everybody on is going to do that stupid thumbs up. And we're going to hit that elusive 4,000 Rumble mark. Is it today? I have no idea, but we're grateful
See,
for
this
your
is
help.
what makes me feel good.
What?
I'm trying to find the name. Pat Nakara. I've watched Wendy since she had an 8-minute segment. That's where this all started. That I used to call
it on Facebook.
I used to call it the Wendy O'Toole segment. Right? Isn't that how we started it? It was
usually something that was in my private
personal,
life.
Right.
That's my married name, O'Toole. So, in fact, the only time I'm Belle is on the show and on Newsmax. Whatever. Once you're in the biz with your name, you got to stick with it, babes. That's a little inside baseball for y'all.
Oh, wow.
I know.
That's exciting.
I know. 2.4. 2.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell. Inspiring solutions to save America, one show at a time. Are you ready to get on board?
They believe that they can destroy this bond that exists between you and Trump if they somehow make Trump look bad, make Trump look like a reprobate, embarrass you about Trump. They can't do it because you came before Trump. Desperately want Trump gone, and I know that they desperately want it codified, that Trump cannot run again, because make no mistake, they remain scared to death of you, and they remain scared to death of Trump. Trump, 75 million, 80 million votes. And I'm going to tell you, you're not going anywhere. Even if Trump does, you're not. Which I think remains one of our big campaign strengths going forward. They can't separate you from Trump. And more importantly, they can't separate you from the ideas. They can't separate you from MAGA. They can't separate you from Make America Great Again.
From sea to shining sea, 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. The Wendy Bell Radio Program.
Hour 2 of the Wendy Bell Radio Program on the clock and on TV. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio Program. Thank you so much for being here. With liberty and justice for all. Now, if you think about those words that we say on this program every day, it isn't complicated. Justice should be about facts, not about bias, not about politics, not about covering up for corruption, not about animus, not about greed, not about jealousy. If justice is truly to be blind, it has to be based on facts. Not facts that you make up, not facts that come from a dossier, not manufactured hearsay stories. Facts. Facts don't care about feelings. Facts are facts. For the Supreme Court to weigh in on this presidential immunity case, the Supreme Court needs to rely on facts. Did Donald Trump, in fact, incite an insurrection? Is he guilty of what thousands of people did? Is there innuendo? Are there dots that can be connected that ought not be, that have been? Is he guilty of doing something which precludes him from being president again? Facts should lead us to justice. But what we are hearing is a lot of voices who want you to think that they care about facts, but who are political bias, their political bias, their tendencies are so flagrantly obvious, you can't put him back in the bag. So let's start with the headline. CNN. Supreme Court to decide Trump immunity claim. Further delaying election subversion trial. Further delaying election subversion trial. We're all going to get on the same page here, okay? All these indictments. Every single one of them. It's about eliminating his candidacy, making him unelectable, whether it's by law or it's by public decision. Sullying the persona of Donald Trump. And every single time they've tried, they've made him more popular. Every single thing they've thrown at him has backfired. And their plan is very obvious. And their cards are now on the table. It is desperation time to stop Trump at any cost. If that means breaking the law, if that means perjuring yourself, if that means committing a treasonous act, if that means jeopardizing the entire safety of this country for that one rabid goal, so be it. I'll read you the first couple paragraphs and we'll bounce over to some sound because you need to hear how the media are covering this. If I were under indictment, I would want careful scrutiny of facts. I wouldn't want some timetable that we need to meet. So we have to hurry through stuff so that we get to a desired end. That's not how justice works. The Supreme Court agreed Wednesday to decide whether Donald Trump may claim immunity in special counsel Jack Smith's election subversion case, adding another explosive appeal from the former president to its docket and further delaying his federal trial. The court expedited the case and will hear arguments the week of April 22. Now, if it's liberty and justice for all, you shouldn't have people on the left asking for the justices to hit the gas pedal. Things should play out the way they must, but this is all a game. And it's not a game when it's your life that dangles in the balance. And it's not a game when you're one of the political prisoners who gets snarled by this and thrown away in prison forever. And it's not liberty and justice for all if it's somebody you love whose life is snuffed out by people who are so rabid to destroy Trump that they put all of us in danger. I want you to hear the sound. MSNBC. Host is Ari Melber. Guest is Andrew Weissman, former special counsel in the Mueller probe. This guy is, by all accounts, from what I can tell, a leftist activist. He's not a lawyer. He's not acting as one here. He is acting as a panicked operative of the left, desperate to see a conviction by November 5th of 2024. Not because of liberty and justice for all, but because exactly what Hunter Biden said in his opening statements. I want you to hear this exchange. Number one, we have to understand that this case is meant solely to damage Trump before the election. Question: isn't the high court helping Donald Trump delay this case? This is the question from Ari Melber to Andrew Weissman. Go.
Bottom line, isn't this the Supreme Court rewarding the delay tactics and really legitimizing and affirming a schedule that ultimately could mean Donald Trump doesn't face trial by November, and thus got a kind of immunity in practice, if not in precedent?
Ari, you're supposed to be somewhat unbiased, right? You're supposed to be presenting us information. Isn't the high court helping Donald Trump? Isn't that what this is all about? Isn't it a bunch of conservatives on the bench? And all they want to do is help Donald Trump, and this is what they're doing? Can you see that? What a question. But the answer to me is even better and more effective. Here's Andrew Weissman. Go.
What I am very concerned about is a Supreme Court where there are at least 5 votes that say there is no presidential immunity, but they take so long in making that decision that they are giving de facto immunity, so that they write some some opinion for the ages with beautiful language about the presidency is not above the law, and this is what the role of the Supreme Court is, et cetera, et cetera. But the effect of that decision is with respect to the one and only instance of a president, alleged to have committed criminal acts.
They are taking so long. The high court is that they are essentially giving Donald Trump immunity from facing this case before Election Day. And damn it, we can't sully his reputation if they don't hit the gas. These are the same people who won't respond to congressional freaking subpoenas. These are the same people who miss deadlines not by days, not by weeks, but by months. These are the people who stonewall, who slow walk, who lie, who deflect, who smoke screen, all of it. And they're ticked off that the Supreme Court isn't jumping into overdrive for them. Don't you realize we're on a timetable? This is your left-wing media. Audio soundbite number 3. It's all about the calendar, ladies and gentlemen. MSNBC's put together this overlay for you. Here you go. It's a full screen graphic, and they're going to say, look at all these cases. All of them have got to try to hopefully land before November 5th. They tell you exactly what their point is. Destroy the name, the brand, and make unelectable Donald Trump.
Let's get into that calendar math. I have all the trials up on the screen because we've been updating this for viewers, and some of them, the ones in yellow, aren't even currently likely to happen soon. The green is New York next month. That is on, but the red SCOTUS appeal, now set for April, is the big headline tonight.
This is all we're worried about. We are focused on one thing and one thing only, and because we are rabidly obsessed with Donald Trump, we cannot bring you objective news about anything else. And then we're mystified that nobody's watching anymore. This is my favorite. So what could happen next? Give us a worst case scenario. And this is where Andrew Weissman jumps in and says, worst case scenario, the high court's going to, want extra evidence and actually look into this. We want them just to act the way we wish. That's not liberty and justice for all. Go.
The worst case scenario is that the court takes its time. It says it's going to hear the case the week of April 22nd. It takes its time to issue its decision. It presumably would issue it by the end of the term, which is the end of June. It obviously could decide at that point that the president is immune, or there should be fact-finding. I mean, things that would not even resolve the issue.
Oh my gosh! They could dig into it a little bit. They could take something not at face value. That Andrew Weissman says worst case equals he is an operative. And the whole thing is purposeful, pointed, and directed at destruction. But Hunter Biden and his dad, they're the victims. Right. The most epic MSNBC meltdown comes after the short break. Do not go anywhere. You're dialed into the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I love this story. Kelly Morgan from Morgane's Fitness shared one of her Transformation Tuesday stories with me. And it's totally amazing. It's a woman named Lori. She's probably 10 years younger than I am. I'm in my 50s. She's probably in her early 40s. And she goes in and she does the 90-day Ignite program with Kelly. And you can do this from a different zip code than here in southwestern Pennsylvania. It's so cool. She says after 90 days, Lori's repeat body composition showed a 4.5 pound fat loss. 4.5 pounds of fat. She is 7 inches smaller and so much stronger. So proud of her. Lori said, I beg your pardon. She is 50. She says, I'm 50. I've struggled over the years with losing the mom weight. I joined a gym, started New Year's resolution, only to quit after a couple weeks. The gym was intimidating. The only piece of equipment I was familiar with was the treadmill. As for dieting, well, that was a roller coaster. So when I heard about this 90-day challenge, I hoped it would be different, and it absolutely was. I'm no longer intimidated to walk into the gym because Kelly provided instruction and a workout plan that will carry me into the future. Life happens. And as I learned over these past 90 days, Kelly motivated me and reminded me that it is okay. It's all right to have a little bit of grace and reset when you have problems. Now it's a change, it's a lifestyle. MoreGainsFitness.com. It's not just the plan, it's the people, it's all of it. And it works.
People on the app are saying that they followed you from TV, and then they ask me for TV stories. And I think people find it hard to believe that I didn't even know who she was. I always dealt with another TV station, and I know those people, but I did not even know who Wendy was. I had to look her up when they said, you have to do a show with her.
And I'm not so sure he was delighted to be told that he was going to be filling in and doing stuff. Actually, they asked you, didn't they?
What's that?
They asked you if you would do it, and you said
No, someone had taken off, and they needed someone to fill in.
Ah, that's right.
And they said, hey, we need you to do 9 to noon today.
And you were like, whatever.
And I got from people that I worked with, how could you work with her? And I'm like, she's a racist. I'm like,
I'm super racist.
So I looked her up.
I hate everybody.
But I looked at her up.
I do, but
I looked her up a different way than most people did. I went reverse. I read the Pittsburgh Courier's report on her first. And then I read the Post, and I'm like, and if you read the Pittsburgh Courier report first, the whole dynamic of what was on that post that you made was completely read a different way than if you believed the Post Gazette or any other left
it's almost
hack.
like fake news has been around for a lot longer than we thought.
Yeah, I got, but I didn't know who she was.
Hell, he still doesn't know who I am. I'm an enigma.
Right.
I'm super mysterious. Very complicated.
Yes. Oh, like a picture book.
Right. That's super. All right. You know what? I need to get Steve Garvey on the show. Is anybody in California connected to Steve Garvey? First of all, I love him.
I'll fanboy over
I
him.
know, I will too. And I still think he's hot.
Well, he can be your boyfriend.
He could be my. So MSNBC has this guy on. His name is Elie Mystal. And he is this large black guy with white hair. And it's kind of like, whose hair does that look like? It's like a
Don King.
Is Don King? That's what it is.
Except groomed.
Yeah, it's purposefully unkempt. That's the style. It's white and it's wild. He's a very educated man, but he is MSNBC's justice correspondent, which is so dumb because there is no justice in Joe Biden's America. And he literally loses his mind over the Supreme Court saying, we see some things that perhaps are worthy of our review going forward. We're playing in some dangerous waters when it comes to presidential politics. So here is Elie Mystal's meltdown over the Supreme Court saying, you know what, we're going to jump in here and, oh no, this will probably delay the whole trial until after the presidential election. Go.
The reason why people like Mark and people like Dahlia seem to have a crystal ball is because they're real. Because they're realists and they understand the court for what it is. And at some point, people in the media, people at home, and people sitting in the White House have to stop pretending that the Supreme Court is some kind of benign, trying to do its best institution and start to realize that there are 6 Republicans, not conservatives, Republicans on the Supreme Court who view it as their job to help the Republican Party. And until we do something about that, until we take away that power, until we draw the line on them there, they will continue to do this. They will help Trump. They will take away abortion rights. They will end affirmative action. They will liberalize gun rights. They will do all of it until we stop them.
Until we stop them. I hope they have an AED somewhere near the floor there because my man's about to crash. Holy cow, relax, my brother. It's okay. It's all right. Remember, John Roberts is part of your team. Amy Coney Barrett, she's not a shoo-in, right? So just take a pill, chillax, and chew on this, Ellie. Good news. Mitch McConnell has decided he's going to step down, not from the Senate because life couldn't be that glorious on this Thursday. But he's going to step down from the leadership position that he has maintained for 17 years. With suck, I'm going to say, as probably a takeaway theme of that tenure. Here you go, Washington Free Beacon, Mitch McConnell to step down as Senate Republican leader. No, Mitch McConnell needs to step down and retire. Mitch McConnell needs to realize that when he goes into that frozen face statue syndrome, and he's off somewhere else and nobody knows where the hell he is, that's indicative of you're old. And it's okay to be old. It's okay. Nobody expects you to be 25, yo. Okay, I'm not. I found a box of Kleenex in the refrigerator the other day, okay? I understand. You're 82. You look like you're 560. Step away. Step away. So here's your story. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell said on Wednesday he would step down from his leadership role, leaving a power vacuum atop the party he has piloted for nearly 17 years, more than any other party leader in the chamber's history. He sucks. I turned 82 last week. The end of my contributions are closer than I prefer. Well, we all wish they were a lot longer ago. My man, McConnell said on the Senate floor, his voice breaking with emotion. Father Time remains undefeated. I'm no longer the young man sitting in the back, hoping colleagues remember my name. It's time for the next generation of leadership. Oh, good. So I'm glad they're bringing two other old guys in to possibly vie for the spot. How about we do something unconventional, right? How about we don't do seniority? Because oftentimes seniority leads to furtherance of suck. How about we vote? How about America decides who should be our House, or rather Senate, minority leader? Let us do our review, perhaps, of their liberty scores at Conservative Review, which is just a telltale roadmap of how people vote. Do you say that you're conservative every 2 years, every 6 years, or whatever it is? Or do you vote consistently when nobody is paying attention? Because you are true and you are honorable and you believe in American exceptionalism. That Mitch McConnell is just stepping down. Big deal. We need to carve out the fossils. And anybody out there who would say, well, that means eliminating Donald Trump too, obviously does not pay attention to how that man operates. And I have no doubt that he not only has the strength, but most assuredly the stamina and the love of country to see the job through. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's switch gears a little bit, dismantling the irreparable harm of the Joe Biden administration. We're going to start in Texas. Ken Paxton. Huge victory that could dismantle multiple multi-trillion-dollar spending debacles of Joe Biden. Big news next.
So some of you might disagree with me on this. I think Mitch McConnell's trash. I would say you don't because he's stepping down in November. He still holds the purse strings for races, and I would not put it past him to pull out of races, pull money out of races, which will affect MAGA candidates. So I'd like to see him step down today. Now, with that being said, he did keep Merrick Garland off the bench. He did work with President Trump to get a lot of judges put on the bench when Trump was putting judges on the bench left and right. But other than that, I don't know what Mitch McConnell necessarily brings to the table anymore or before. You know, like you expect them to suck. You expect them to vote against what the people want. The people don't want Ukrainian funding. And what's one of the things he's pushing? Ukrainian funding. You know, and hopefully Josh Hawley gets his way. He wants to see a total. He's come out and said he wants to see a total revamp of the Republican Party in the Senate. So hopefully he gets his, and we don't get the same old song and dance or Mitch's number 2 man in there. So I'd like to see Mitch go now. Hopefully you see a lot of these guys like Hawley, JD Vance, even a Ted Cruz step up and campaign and help candidates that are conservative, that have America's needs and wants first. But I see Mitch McConnell as not putting the best foot forward for Republican candidates, and I would like to see him go today. But and I'd like to see the people that work with him push him out, because like I said, I think he can hurt the country right now in the movement way more than even if he stayed, because there's a good chance that the Republicans are going to take the Senate back. And does Mitch want to help that happen? Does he care anymore?
All right, let's talk Patriot Switch, you guys. You know, when I was thinking about this, there are so many services involved with Patriot Switch. It's not just that the idea of joining a membership, a club of people, like I don't know how many people strong, but that you're part of a club that supports family-made, American-made, patriotic company for 450 different products in your house. Like, that's a great incentive to move your money away from Walmart or Target or whatever. But the other things and services that Patriot Switch offers is off the charts. And one of them is home security. And it is such an affordable system to get through your membership with Patriot Switch, which costs like $19 a year. It's nothing. You could have a whole house alarm system and pay a very reasonable monthly rate for protection. And if you're not one of those people who digs guns, you better have some kind of a plan, because the police ranks aren't getting bigger and they're not coming faster to your house. It's nice to have the protection. Look into the home security. Ask about it. Everything this company does is about protection and safety and health and wellness and fiscal responsibility and all of it. It's just good. PatriotSwitch.com/Wendy. There's so much to this movement. And if you're intrigued by the things that I say, it doesn't cost you anything to inquire further. Why not?
Speaking of guns, since I'm like security when we're out, does that make a gun a write-off for me? Can that be a...
Since I'm security when we're out. How do you know I'm not secure? He makes me sit if we're ever out to lunch or something.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Before you say that, every concealed carry person out there is going to agree with me. Go ahead.
He makes me sit with my back to the door.
It's not just you.
No, I know. I can't say I'm not with other people with you.
Ask our mutual friend that I have breakfast with. Same thing.
I get it. It's all good. Preach.
So is it a write-off? Company expense?
I'm going to go with no.
Wow.
I know. Where are we? Where, as Brock would say, where are we at? 2.8. Can we please get 3? I know this is going to sound unusual to you guys, but I think that a lot of the problems in this country can be not solely, but some of the blame can be attributed to you and to me, to conservative inaction. Because we didn't stand up and we didn't push back. All we have to do is look at this next generation of children who feel like they can live without consequence, that they don't have to take responsibility for their actions, that they are owed something. And if you live in the world of HR and you try to hire any of these individuals onto your company payroll, the degree of entitlement is, I'm going to go with astonishing. People who have not contributed anything, who have no skin in the game, who've done nothing, demand stuff because they didn't have parents who said, sit down, put a sock in it. They didn't have parents who had parameters. There are lines, and you do not cross them. And if you do, there will be consequences. I remember when I was in high school, and I knew damn well I didn't have a driver's license, and I knew I wanted to drive, so I decided to take my sister's car for a spin. She narked on me, of course, that's what big sisters do, and I got hosed. And what ended up happening? I had to wait 6 months to get my driver's license. How did you like that 1 hour, Wendy? Because it's going to cost you 6 months. What I did not realize was that had I hit somebody, and God forbid killed somebody, that the victim's family could have come after my parents, my dad's business, anything they owned. I didn't think about anything beyond what I wanted right then. That's part of being a child until you're forced to see consequences. And once you're forced to see consequences, your life changes. We have allowed too much crap to go down without standing up and pushing back. Whether we thought somebody else would do it, whether we were afraid of the consequences in our own lives, whatever the reason, we are, at least in part, guilty of what's been going on in this country. And I'm intrigued by the people who are willing to put themselves in the crosshairs in very public fashion, to be accused of things, to have their private lives invaded, to see lies and garbage made up about them. Ken Paxton is one of those people. They had this big Texas move to impeach him, said he was guilty of this and guilty of that, until, of course, it came down to the, facts, and there were none. Paxton seems to have a bit of a mission, and this is pretty interesting. It's important that we talk about it, and it's a big story on Breitbart today. Here's your headline: Biden's $1.7 trillion spending bill unconstitutional. So rules a federal court. Now, this is important because it is a very big chink in the armor of this whole Democrat progressive movement of overspending, irresponsible, receiptless, unaccountable spending, and might, in fact, unravel the entire expensive can of worms. President Joe Biden's massive $1.7 trillion spending bill passed by Democrats at the end of 2022 is unconstitutional, a federal judge in Texas ruled Tuesday, potentially halting some of Biden's immigration's programs and opening the door to stopping the spending of many billions of dollars of taxpayer money in follow-up lawsuits. Congress passed in 2023 its Omnibus Appropriations Bill. That's a translation for the kitchen sink fiscal train wreck on December 29th of 2022. But in so doing, House Democrats continued their COVID-era policy of allowing members to vote from whatever remote location they were in, even on vacation, instead of being present in the House chamber to cast their votes in person. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton sued, arguing that some of the federal programs being funded by that spending package were causing problems for his Texas, specifically some immigration problems administered by Attorney General Merrick Garland, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Paxton sued over the quorum clause in Article 1 of the Constitution, which requires a majority of the House's 435 members to be present in order for the House to do business. Judge Wesley Hendricks from the Lubbock Division of the Northern District of Texas ruled Tuesday in favor of Texas. And the judge explained very simply, for over 235 years, Congress understood the Constitution's quorum clause to require a majority of members of the House or Senate to be physically present to constitute the necessary quorum to pass legislation. This rule prevents a minority of members from passing legislation that affects the entire nation. But despite the Constitution's text and centuries of consistent practice, the House in 2020 created a rule that permitted non-present members to be included in the quorum count and vote by proxy. Pursuant to that novel rule, the House passed a new law included within the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2023, and that particular provision affects Texas. The court concludes that by including members who were indisputably absent in the quorum count, the act at issue passed in violation of the Constitution's quorum clause, Hendricks declared. Now, the delicious part of this is you have the Democrats working backwards, trying to get Donald Trump to get shackled by some insurrection clause that takes us back to the freaking what? Civil War? To say that if somebody has created, incited, or participated in an insurrection, an attempted overthrow of the government, that they should never be able to serve in that government. This is the thin little line that they're trying to pull, the thread that they're trying to pull to dismantle Donald Trump, where in reality, what the House did in 2020 was wholly against the Constitution. And ain't it a problem when a Republican Attorney General happens to point that out? And the larger implications here are profound. The court concludes that by including members who were indisputably absent in the quorum count, the act at issue, $1.7 trillion of sucky spending, passed in violation of the Constitution's quorum clause. This is what the judge declared. The judge's 120-page opinion. See, this is the maddening part of dismantling what these clowns have done. It's like they've spun this woven web of chaos in every aspect of how America functions. And that the gears have become so gummed up that the machine isn't moving anymore. And so it's a matter of all of us grabbing the tools and going into the individual gear that represents our slice of America and starting to chip away at it and dismantle it and to oil it again and grease it so it starts moving again. 120-page opinion, this judge wrote, walking through each of the Justice Department's arguments, trying to legally justify the spending and rejecting each one in turn. COVID was just the predicate of a major binge They took America's credit cards and they hit Rodeo Drive. And they hit it before the looters could smash the windows and steal everything. And they bought crazy. And they knew they couldn't pay the bill. So they decided, well, it's all right. We'll just tap it onto the backs of America's grandchildren and great-grandchildren who haven't even been conceived. That's been what we've been living with. Texas's challenge involves ordinary constitutional interpretation of a restriction on congressional power, the judge said, when rejecting the political question doctrine, which says that the Constitution puts certain matters in the hands of the elected branches of government, not the judiciary. And he reasoned, the court need not engage in policy making to resolve the merits. Instead, it needs to simply look to the Constitution's text, original public meaning, and historical practice, as courts routinely do. Look, you can't go in there and change the rules. You can't say, oh my gosh, there's an emergency. Hurry, hurry, hurry. We've got to act. It's so their standard operating, isn't it? Create an emergency. Make sure it has something to do with public safety that invokes widespread fear. Use the media to fan the flames of the fear by dropping endless stories, perpetuating its myth, right? And then swoop in on the white horse of salvation like the firefighter arsonist. You set the fire, but you're also wanting to be the hero who puts it out just in the nick of time. Then they want to swoop in with some ridiculous legislation that's not going to do crap for anyone, was never intended to. It's thousands of pages long. It's dropped at midnight. Vote is the next day at 9, and you'll have to pass it to see what's in it with a smirk from Nancy Pelosi. And I got caught. So what will this judge's ruling do? I don't know. Who knows if this is going to open up other litigation to dismantle what you and I all know have led to a bankrupting of our country. It's led to the demise of the value of the dollar bill. It's made us a laughing stock on the global stage. It's made us weak. Because everybody outside of the confines of these United States can see the feckless disregard for liberty and justice for all at the highest branches of government. And damn it, we didn't get involved early enough to stop it. Now the true fighters are. Mr. Paxton, Mr. Attorney General, I wish you Godspeed, sir. Because you're doing what we were too afraid to do. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Gavin Newsom. Oh my gosh, he's such a leader. Isn't he? What a great guy. Oh, yeah, maybe not anymore. A little pay to play going on in Gav's world. Reason 742 California sucks. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
Why didn't that happen? There we go.
What'd I do?
Nothing. I pressed one of my buttons and it didn't trigger. It should have. While you're swallowing pills, thank you to Razzle Dazzle who gave $5 for the security fund. Riam who gave $5 just because, and Andrew Lawson who gave $5. So I guess he just started following the channel. And
Oh, that's so nice. So, you know, we, and I think I can speak for Brock. Like we believe in the long game here.
Yes.
This isn't, we don't believe in gimmicks and garbage and fake crap. Like there's a reason you come back every day and there's a reason we show up every day. It might be different reasons, but the heart is in the same place. So,
well, you know what it's like to get days off.
Oh God, I'm such a hot.
Are you getting a stash?
No.
Oh.
Mm-mm.
Here, lean in. I can't see.
I want to tell you about the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. 412-906-9600. 412-906-9600. Look, the older we get, the harder it is for us to bounce back from surgery. I'm still bouncing back, and it's been a year and a half, and it sucks, and I wish I never had it. So the thing about hindsight is so unfair, and it's so true. Before you agree to a delicate surgical operation on your back, on your spine, your discs, get a second opinion. And that number I gave you is for the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. PittsburghDiscInstitute.com, 412-906-9600. And the reason why we talk about the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh and Doc Rafferty is because he offers an alternative. So many of our sponsors offer alternatives to the standard sock. And his alternative at the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh is a non-surgical treatment, which allows your discs to regenerate. And it's 98% successful. And they can answer your questions when you call. Talk to a human being. Don't be a number, because you're not, and you won't be at the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. Wonderful, wonderful people.
Hog something. Hog Guy 2000. Wendy coming to the gun bash? No.
Nope. I wasn't invited.
How about that? Wendy didn't want to come. Don't let her fool you.
2.95 for the love of all that's holy.
Well.
California is a beautiful state. Californians are lovely people. I grew up there. From 5 until 18, it was my home. And it's just a beautiful place. And it's terrible to watch a beautiful place be flushed down the toilet. And that's exactly what we're seeing. And so these headlines, they are worthy of our review, because these are the voices of the people, the egoists, the narcissists, who want to be stars. Like, MAGA to me is about country. It is about America. Whatever that word means to you, that's what it means. The M doesn't stand for me. And so many of these people who are dangerous, who intrinsically do not have that love, find their way into positions of power. And the people are the collateral damage. The same way Hunter Biden is the collateral damage of Joe Biden's dream of being smart or relevant or effective or to be a leader, none of which he is. And Hunter, we could argue, would be part of the collateral damage. California is the collateral damage of Gavin Newsom's delusions of grandeur. So this headline from Gateway Pundit: Newsom exempts Panera Bread from California's new $20 minimum wage law. Their CEO donates to his political campaigns. At very core base levels, that is so off the charts, unacceptable. Unacceptable. It's Fannie Willis and Nathan Wade spending election campaign donations on lavish trips, and then having the audacity to lie about the cell phone pings that show thousands of phone calls and tens of thousands of text messages, and then having the audacity to lie. So in Gavin Newsom's California, where everything's going to hell in a handbasket in a hurry, We're going to wave the magic wand. We're going to say that paying people more money is going to do something to benefit we the people. Basic Economics 101 that you can learn in 9th grade tells you that that's not how it works. And oh, that's right. The CEO from Panera gives him cash. California got just brazen corruption. It's the first line of the Gateway Pundit article. Just brazen corruption. California Governor Gavin Newsom carved out an exemption for Panera Bread from the state's new insane $20 minimum wage because its billionaire CEO, Greg Flynn, donates to his political campaigns. Didn't they impeach Donald Trump because of the whole quid pro quo allegations? I'm going to do this for you if you do that for me. Well, here it is in your face, and it's slapping you. In September, California Governor Gavin Newsom signed a law raising the minimum wage for fast food workers to $20 per hour. Is that maybe why a Happy Meal is $19, right? Big Mac meal. Do you know that if I was going to feed my family of 7 and we were going to go, and I have all sons, imagine if the 6 men in my life, I'm going to take them out to McDonald's. We're going to go and we're going to have dinner. It would be like $150, right? That's what raising the minimum wage to $20 does, you rock stars in California who go, yeah, this is great. We're going to totally make America fabulous by raising the minimum wage. Nobody can afford that without passing exorbitant price increases onto people. Bing, bang, bang, bang. And I'm not an economist. I know, shocker, right? 80% of the workforce, these fast food places, 80% of people of color, 2/3 are women, the majority are breadwinners. We have the opportunity to reward that contract. It's the emotion. We need to pay these people more because they're women and they're Black, right? It's not fiscally responsible. That's a fact. Let's talk about the feeling. So, California, what are you doing? Look, if you're not part of the solution of ensuring that the elections in your state are legitimate, if you're not part of the eye-opening and you're not out there knocking on your neighbors' doors saying, what the hell is going on? If you're not part of the active search for a candidate to replace these individuals, really? Can we sit back and be angry, really? I don't know. Gavin Newsom, who wants to be president someday. Well, hell, at this rate, he's proving he's got all the corrupt cards to pull it off. This is the sort of stuff that I have very little patience with. And it is the number one thing that draws people to Donald Trump. It's that love. Not of self, not of ego, not of bank account, but of America. It is liberty and it is justice for all. Facts. We got to talk about something coming up in this hour 3, which is fast approaching, my friends. Because it's important. America realizes that Joe Biden's drive-by photo op at the border, right? You know what that is because it's all he does. And we're going to juxtapose what Joe Biden is doing at the border with what Donald Trump is doing today at the border. And even the Associated Press freaking sees it. That's next. Hour 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program.
It's flying by.
Yeah, it is. All right. I told Brock.
Uh-oh.
That I really wanted him to be the voice of this today, and I will set this up. Brock is epileptic, and every couple years he has a major seizure.
Usually because I do something stupid.
And not sleeping is a trigger. So yesterday he was really exhausted because it had been 2 days. It said he had not had good sleep. And so at about 7, did you text me at 7?
A little before 7.
Little before 7, he said, I'm about to go take a gummy. I've got to get some sleep. Please text me by 3:15 if you don't hear from me. And I said, for sure. So the gummy that he's talking about is from CB Distillery. And CB Distillery uses the medicinal qualities of the hemp plant. And it works. Brock, tell him.
Yeah, I took one last night, which I typically don't do. They're not mine. My wife will use them, and I took one last night, and I want to say, and I've told Wendy this. I lay down, and I just can watch the clock.
Body is ready to tap out,
Yeah.
but the brain is spinning.
Yes, I laid down last night, and so I gauge it. This is gonna sound stupid. I listen to the Bible when I go to bed. I have an app that just reads you the Bible. And I put it on, and it was on Genesis 45. I did not hear Genesis 47.
So then
it
let
put
me
me
ask you
right
this.
out.
All right, so then
And I slept. I did not wake up.
You were just out.
I was out.
Now, how do you feel when you wake up?
I felt fantastic this morning.
So, and I know.
I didn't even texted you before 3:15.
Yes, you did. To tell me that I didn't need to get in touch with you, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I have resorted to taking like NyQuil.
No, oh no! You wake up groggy.
Oh, it's terrible, bro.
And it does put you right out. That's why the cap is plastic, because when you drink it, if it was glass, you drop the glass
you'd
and
be
there'd be
out.
glass on the floor. Yeah. So they say,
but you have that hangover afterwards for like a good day, and you're foggy. You're in the clouds. It's terrible. I'm glad that you say that you woke up, you were focused, and you're better. You
yeah.
look better. You sound better.
I was 100% better.
So CB Distillery, I really appreciate their commitment to providing you the safest, most naturally occurring products out there, whether it's for muscle pain or for Brock, to just turn off your mind and let your body go. cbdistillery.com, and there's a nice 20% off. I don't know if they've remedied the situation. If you go and what was the one that we saw that was 30%?
I don't know if that's still going on, but
yeah,
it'll be at the top. If you can get 30% off.
But if you do
get
that,
30.
leave a memo that says, I'd love to use Wendy's promo code, but this one's better. And maybe they'll be like, oh, snap, we should probably fix that. I don't know if they have, but you guys, I think Brock alerted me to that earlier.
Yeah, it was
yesterday. And he was the one who was in the clouds. So yeah, cbdistillery.com, promo code Wendy, 20% off pretty much anything in the store.
And not
it's so worth it.
Not just because they are a sponsor. I would recommend them even if they weren't.
Absolutely, I would too.
I think
that's why I almost wanted to talk to you guys about Cozy Earth again today, because I wear those. Well, you see in the live stream, Brock, there. It's like a dark blue long sleeve thing in pants. So he takes a gummy. I put those on and get under a weighted blanket.
Yeah,
done.
Like I said, the gummy. I don't take them all the time. But it was
helpful.
the most restful sleep I've had in a while.
Yeah, one of those things you don't want to do all the time, but nice to have in the event that you're just tearing your hair out.
It would have been. So I used to work a crazy shift 7 years ago. Crazy. 2 nights, 2 mornings, afloat. It was just crazy. So I had a hard time sleeping.
Somebody kind of came into us.
So I got in the habit of I would go home and do a couple shots. No lie. Full transparency. I had a bottle by my bed.
Shots of what?
Booze.
Thanks.
Usually bourbon or something like that. But it helped me relax. But I never slept like I did with the gummies.
Sounds like someone's got a problem.
I used to. You probably could have shot a gun off by my head and I wouldn't have even moved. Yeah, I love those things. I have a weighted blanket too, and between the two of them,
I can't wait to get Bioptimizer back because they're looking at their contracts and how they're going to do their advertising. But I take their Bioptimizers every night, and I think that magnesium complete lights out. Bye-bye. Lights out.
I'll go home and take a picture of what I take. I don't know what the milligram was because, like I said, they weren't bought for me.
So Kate bought them through CB Distillery?
Mm-hmm. When you had that like Christmas code.
Yes, it was a good one.
It was really good.
Holy God.
So she went on and bought me I used the roll-on too, instead of like
Pain reliever.
Bengay or whatever.
It doesn't make you smell. Like you can smell Bengay a mile away.
Yeah. I
This
enjoy
is
that
great.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I slept good. It makes me want to take one every night now. I don't need to get to a meeting. I said I used to.
We like to have fun with you.
Used to.
Thanks for the three Rumble guys. Appreciate you.
I don't know which open to play. I'm going to play an oldie. It's time for Vader.
Oh.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Warning. You're about to experience an unpleasant truth.
America must choose to build a future or obsess about the past, to be a nation of fear, division, and of darkness.
Use your aggressive feeling.
Embrace anger, chaos, and truth, but in the shadow of lies.
Let the hate flow through you.
Together we can choose a different path.
Join me. Together we can rule the galaxy.
We're a nation of fear, division, and of darkness.
Break me down with all of your hatred, and your journey towards the dark side will be complete.
Embrace anger, thrive on chaos, but in the shadow of lies.
So this is how liberty dies. With thunderous applause.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea. 3 hours of bold truth, excellence, and optimism for America. The Wendy Bell Radio Program.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell Radio Program. Remember to get the podcast. 2 million downloads strong already. I mean, think about that. 2 million people have gone onto their favorite listening platform and put in Wendy Bell Radio and downloaded our podcast onto their device. If you want to join us, we'd love to have you. Give us a 5-star review, like, follow, share. Whatever you do, just keep coming back. Today's the day. The day Joe Biden realizes, holy crap, I'm getting my butt handed to me. In many ways, and the border is the big issue. It's amazing. It's so inauthentic. It is embarrassing. It is insulting. And we know it. The people of Lahaina know that Joe Biden does not care about them, about their land, about their loved ones, about their children, about what really happened, about all of the questions they want to know. They know he doesn't care. The folks in East Palestine, Ohio, they know. Took a year. You didn't care. You didn't say anything. You didn't connect. You don't have that connection, Joe Biden, because you're a figment. You're a figment. Auto workers know Joe Biden's not their guy. He can walk on a picket line for a minute. Doesn't mean anything. And when Fort Myers got pummeled by that hurricane, it wasn't Joe Biden who rebuilt the bridge, though he came and he took a victory lap for it. Same as they did for the baby formula that they had to bring in because, of course, things in America got a little squirrely under Joe Biden. This border thing is bigger, though, because every single day we're going to see more stories of our people being murdered and raped and terrorized and abused by the people who've been let in by Joe Biden. So today's the day, I guess. He's going to the border. He's going to go to Brownsville, Texas. It's not a hotbed. Donald Trump is going over to Eagle Pass, I do believe, which is. And even the Associated Press calls out the distinction between the two men's destinations. Texas border cities offer Biden and Trump different backdrops for dueling visits. Donald Trump last week said he was going to go to Eagle Pass. And then to respond to that, Joe Biden decided to go as well. That's not leadership. That's reacting. It's reacting to getting your butt kicked. And they know what's coming up. So here's a part of this story. We got a little bit of sound from the Union chief, the guy who's in charge of the Border Patrol. It's sort of like talking to Sean Fain to be the mouthpiece of the auto workers. Well, if you don't represent the values of the men and women on the line, why would I want your opinion? I want to hear what they say. I want to hear it from their mouths. What do they think? Well, you're going to get that here through the Border Patrol Union, the chief, and it is a candor that you don't normally get in highly political topics. Presidential visits to the border are usually short on substance, long on political theater and symbolism, says the Associated Press, starting with the choice of location. Joe Biden and his Republican rival Donald Trump are making dueling appearances today at the border. Biden's choice of Brownsville, Trump's pick of Eagle Pass, will provide sharply different backdrops. Trump, who frequently visited the border as president, is again making immigration a signature campaign issue as he seeks to return to the White House in November. He opposed a Biden-backed border security deal crafted by Senate negotiators amid an unprecedented surge in migration, and that legislation failed. The Democratic president, making his second visit to the border since taking office in 2021, says he may act on immigration without Congress. All right, so let's look at by the numbers, where these guys are going. Rio Grande Valley, which includes Brownsville, gives Biden a platform. Will illegal crossings, the crossings have dropped sharply. It was the busiest corridor for illegal crossings on the U.S. border with Mexico for 9 years until Del Rio, which includes Eagle Pass, overtook it last year, 2022 budget year. Del Rio was the busiest of the Border Patrol's 9 sectors last year as well. Tucson, Arizona began taking the top spot last summer. Arrests for illegal crossings topped 2 million. For the first time in each of the government's last 2 budget years, more than double Trump's peak year of just under 1 million in 19. But Rio Grande Valley has turned into an exception during recent months as traffic has shifted to Arizona and California. So they're going to different spots. Needless to say, the head of the Border Patrol Union, and this is a gentleman who's about to speak, his name is Brandon Judd, and he is saying basically what you know he's going to say. We didn't have this problem before January of 2021. Audio soundbite number 1.
Yeah, everything changed under President Biden. The way we patrol the border, our operations have changed. The way we vet people has changed. The way we process people through the system has changed. Everything that we do has changed under this administration. And it's not about enforcement. It's about getting people into this country as quickly as they possibly can. And so we've become extremely efficient at doing that. And we're all sick of it because we know that if this administration would do what is necessary, we wouldn't have the deaths that we have in this country. Not just Laken Riley. Look at all of the fentanyl poisonings that we're seeing in the United States. We could stop that if we had the proper policy. He won't give it to us because his open border base won't let him.
And beyond that, the Border Patrol Union head, Brandon Judd, says, and don't think that the rank and file who are out here acting as their glorified travel agents, moving these people hither and yon, costing the American taxpayer billions of dollars every year. Don't think that we're not keenly aware of the reason why Joe Biden chose a tepid, at least more so vis-a-vis Eagle Pass, environment in which to visit. Audio soundbite 2.
No, and especially for the Border Patrol agents, they are extremely upset. We're all upset that he is going to Brownsville rather than going to an area where he would be able to evaluate exactly what's going on and to come up with ideas and policies to actually secure the border. Rather, he's going to Brownsville.
Of course, that's not the purpose. The purpose is never to fix the problem. The purpose is never to come up with solutions. It's never about moving forward. It's never about making America great again. It's about destruction. It is about breaking you. It is about flooding the land. It is about forcing you to live in physical and fiscal insecurity. It is about welcoming a new idea, not of exceptionalism, not of being extraordinary, not of reaching for the stars and dreaming. And if you believe you will achieve, which is something I drill into my kids every day, it is about mediocrity.
And that's the exact
more. Audio soundbite number 3.
And that's the exact opposite of what President Trump is doing. He's coming right here to Eagle Pass. He's going to see exactly what has been done to secure this particular area, so then he can expand upon that when he gets back in the White House. That's exactly what policymakers should do. That's what people that govern should do. They should look at the areas that are trouble spots so that they can use what has worked and expand upon that. Biden just isn't going to do that.
Biden wants to blame Donald Trump. All they have is blame Donald Trump. Do whatever you can about Donald Trump. Now, this is the interesting part, because if you go back to September of 2021, we've got this really intriguing audio soundbite of MSNBC's Nicole Wallace with Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas boasting that they have unraveled most of Donald Trump's immigration policies in just 8 short months in office. Listen.
And I'd like to understand from you what Trump-era immigration policies have been banned, ended, reversed, and if any investigations are underway by you.
So we have rescinded so many Trump immigration policies, it would take so much time to list them.
Boasting. We have dismantled everything that was working. Don't remember that. And they also don't want you to remember this nasty fact that Americans are being injured every day, not just Laken Riley, not just little children who are killed by drunk drivers, not just women who are raped or teenagers who are trafficked. You're going to hear John Kirby. This is just a few weeks ago saying, you know what? All these people who say that we're not vetting these migrants, they're wrong. Well, then you're going to hear the reality of the results of this Biden administration. Go.
This idea that just there's no vetting and there's no proper immigration enforcement going on at the border just does not comport with reality.
But many of the tragic consequences are still being felt of many who have illegally crossed and were released into the U.S. Nothing more prominent now than the tragic murder of Laken Riley, the University of Georgia nursing student killed at the hands of Jose Ibarra, the Venezuelan who crossed in El Paso in 2022 and was released. But that's not the only isolated case. We're learning now about many more. I can show you a full screen of this Salvadoran migrant illegally present according to ICE. His name is Nilson Granados Trejo, accused of murdering, killing a tragic death of a 2-year-old infant. And that doesn't stop in Maryland there. Go down to Louisiana, in Kenner, Louisiana, a Honduran migrant accused of raping at knife point a 14-year-old teenage girl.
And remember, when these people are arrested, we're watching as the sheriff's deputies and others scrub their race and make them white. Why would that be? Quick time out. We're back with more. I don't even know what you say to someone whose child is murdered by someone who should have been never here.
Well, if you're the Biden administration, you just act like it didn't happen.
Oh my God, what the hell is going on?
The struggle has been lost. So tomorrow is Friday, Bad Joke Friday.
Yes.
WBRBrock@gmail.com. Bad jokes, WBRBrock@gmail.com. Doc Rafferty already has his in.
Oh, wait.
And good news, WendyBellRadio@gmail.com. Good news, WendyBellRadio@gmail.com. So she gets to see her boyfriend. Although
I have very, very few needs.
he
A little bit of him in my
hasn't been
life.
putting out much stuff.
I agree. And I'm persnickety because we're using up the well. The well is running dry.
And if they're paying attention, someone sent me something, and I saved the email, but I cannot find it. About a guy who does it on the West Coast.
Who's a similar fellow.
Yes. So if
You
you're
know, that's
listening,
what I used to do. That's
what didn't you do?
No. That job. Was my job at my TV station.
The good news.
Well, no. I told stories.
Oh, well, yeah.
Told stories that were perhaps.
I mean, what didn't you do?
What do you mean?
You were a 5-tool player.
I don't know what that means.
You could anchor. You could report.
Yes.
You could tell the story. In baseball, if you can hit and pitch and catch, and you're called a 5-tool player.
Oh.
If you can do it all. And if someone said, "Hey, I need you to write this story," and give it to someone else, you could have done that. You could have did the traffic. Even though you'd be like, around here, all you have to do is say Parkway West backed up to Green Tree Road. Parkway East backed up to the Squirrel Hill Tunnels.
Did you guys hear him say it? I heard him say it. You heard him? I heard it.
What?
We'll see if I heard it. I know you guys heard it. Go ahead. Tell me you heard it. What did you hear?
Backed up to?
No. Let's see who's got it first. Hop on and tell me what you guys just heard, which made me go like this.
Maybe I should get you some gummies. Relax.
Yes, there you go. Heather? Yes, Heather. Bing, 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 bing.
I could have did. You could have done. My bad. God forbid.
No, it's not God forbid. It's just.
I'm not perfect today. Tomorrow's not looking good either.
It's truly remarkable. And it's
Tomorrow's not looking good either.
Indeed, it does not. Indeed.
Indeed.
Bing. Yes, indeed.
Well, should we tell that story? The Bell story?
Well, you can. Not now, because you've run out of time.
No, I can tell it in 30 seconds. So, I can't remember the word, but when brilliant, that's the word. Wendy always said brilliant, right? And I'm like, you're saying brilliant too much. Everything can't be brilliant. So I went out and bought one of those little service bells that you ding. And I says, every time you say brilliant, I want you to hit the bell. And she said it and looked over at me. I mean, it wasn't even 10 minutes ago. She's like, it's brilliant. And she looks at me and goes, Tito. Ding. It was like Pavlov's dog. Ring the bell.
But I think I said on the radio, I'm like, look, I say this word too much. I don't know how to stop saying this word. And so he's treating me like a freaking
It didn't take long.
pet. I'm like. So it's fun to watch the hysteria, the blame Trump, the point fingers, the twisting in knots, in pretzels to avoid any kind of culpability in this new America of no responsibility. I mean, if you're a young person and you've got nothing else going on and you've been groomed to believe that the world owes you something and it's okay to be malignant and destroy property, go on out. Don't take responsibility. There's going to be somebody who bails you out. That's what's been going on. We need a lot of parents to step forward. A lot of kids need to be slapped, proverbially, if you will. Right? No, you will not. No, that is not acceptable. We do not do that in a civilized country. And if you don't like that, y'all can pack up your bags and you can get the hell out. We're cool with that. Beat it. And by the way, you can take all of the sniveling celebrities who clutched their pearls when Donald Trump won in 2016, who said they were going to move to Canada. Go on. Go on. I cannot wait. This rogue justice, liberty and justice for all, this idea. I don't understand these rogue judges, but they are doing damage to the idea of justice. The same way Tony Fauci and Deborah Birx and all these Francis Collins and Peter Daszak and all these other losers who lied to us. I mean, for years, have irreparably damaged our faith in medicine or science. I mean, if the CDC puts something out, do you guys believe it? Are you like, oh, did you see that? Or are you like, really? We know what you're all about. Because that's what I see. Irreparable harm. So what is your takeaway from this headline from the Daily Caller? Trump removed from the Illinois ballot. They are so afraid. And then I hope it happens. I hope this dream sequence that I fantasize about privately when I'm alone, I hope it comes true. That all of a sudden one day in the not so distant future, there will be a loop of proof of the people who have lied to us and the evidence proving the lies. And it will delve into every sector that has become corrupted. And it will tell the true story. And everybody will be forced to watch it. There will be no other programming. There will be nothing else to access on your phone. There will be no other programming on the radio. It is it. And it will run loop to loop until you see it and you know it and you understand it. Now, whether that ever happens, at least what I can do in this small capacity with a microphone and a heart that pumps for this country is to tell you these stories. An Illinois judge has taken upon herself to remove Donald Trump from the state's ballot. Basing his ruling on the 14th Amendment's, quote, insurrectionist ban, according to court documents. It's all they have. It's all they have. He started an insurrection. Everything is racist, right? Desperate. Because somewhere, possibly many cases, in many places, there is a binder, maybe 10 inches thick, that has all of the secrets that Trump tried to declassify and make public. And they know if they don't stop him before November 5th, that fantasized video loop is likely to come true. Quickly, Cook County Democratic Judge Tracy Porter removed Trump from the state's ballot before the upcoming GOP primary scheduled for March 19th. And Porter based the decision on the 14th Amendment's insurrection ban, prohibiting elected officials from holding office if they've committed an insurrection. Do you think a judge should know that if that is to be used as the reason to remove Donald Trump from the ballot, they have not met the requirement that he be charged with and convicted of insurrection? And neither of those two predicates happened. That a judge at any level should decide to trample law for a desired political end should scare the everlasting liver out of all of us, or the lover. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, when justice is punitive and spiteful and retaliative, you are in Joe Biden's USA. Wait until you hear this.
Liberal alert.
What?
On the app. Proceedings of the National Academy of Science draws from detailed and well-sourced data. This is what the left does, right? Well-sourced data set to come even more dramatic conclusion. It reports between 2012 and 2018, undocumented immigrants in Texas were half as likely to commit crime. Listen, first off, give me data.
Yeah. Not some
Second,
report.
not from 2012 to 2018 when it wasn't a problem. How about nationally? You come with that kind of data, I might believe you. But because
well, at least we'd be able to fact check you.
because
Since that's what we do.
But because what they're doing now is they're playing with the numbers. These people are white.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing with the numbers. They're not arresting them.
This is what they did with COVID.
Yeah. So
we need all these people to die because of COVID.
You will not, calm legend, you will not be saved because you believe their bullshit. Sorry, not sorry. And
I'm kind of
hello,
disappointed.
let's start with the first word. Illegal. You shouldn't be here anyways. It should be 0.
I'm kind of disappointed that we only have 5 thumbs downs. Sherry, I so appreciate you trying to hump the rumbles here, but
someone said Joe Biden got 4,000 rumbles with 8 viewers.
Wow.
Makes sense. Numbers add up.
Yeah.
Those numbers are probably pretty consistent. Some people were asking too about like where Field of Greens. Some sponsors take weeks off. That's the way their things are set up, that they advertise, take a week off, advertise.
Yep. I think a lot of these companies are constantly, formulating different promotions, different products.
And a lot of companies will drop
rollouts.
And this is from 25, take it for what it's worth, 25 years in the business. A lot of companies will drop off the first 3 months of the year because they've spent so much in the last quarter that they realize people don't have as much money in the first quarter. So a lot of them will take time off in the first quarter. So Heather says she ordered her cert.
Oh, that's awesome. I can't wait to hear. So yes, if you order the cert, let us know. Getcert.com/Wendy.
Yeah.
Let me make sure. Is that what it was? I think that's what it was. So this is this apparently before now, not available for you and me to get this apparently like high energy weight loss stimulating mix. I'm like, all right, let's try it.
Yeah.
I'm all about trying stuff like that. Like I started trying that face stuff.
You can tell a difference.
Can you?
Yeah, even with the filter off, you can.
I can. I think you can.
Yeah, I all kidding aside, I think you can. I mean, filter helps, but just saying.
Agreed. 100%. It's not up for debate.
Do you have anything nice to say about anybody?
No, I think I'm tapped. Do you think there's somebody I missed?
No, No.
It's nice to get to the last half hour and to be caught up. It's nice. But we look forward to having some of our regular you want Wendy to tell you? Wendy to tell you what? Trumpet, how you doing? That's probably not what you wanted me to tell you, but it did sound a little creepy. Wendy likes experimentation. Wow.
Oh, that could be taken the wrong way.
Wow.
Experimenting with what?
No, I think most women would try anything on their face. Why not? I think that sort of stuff is fun. And I certainly was not expecting to love it. But my deal is I have to try it. I want to be honest with people as I'm doing it. I'm not going to say, hey, I love it. And I've never used it. I will not do that. So like I'm supposed to, I'm sure they want me to say about cert. It tastes great. And I have no idea. I haven't tried it. No idea. But Heather trusts us enough and knows that Brock's going to be my guinea pig. It might, who knows? You might love it.
I might. Hey, I'm willing to try it. I'm willing to try it.
Should I cut all my hair off?
It's not like I can't, use it. Just saying. Someone said I was bulky, so. Am I lying? Oh, my.
Darius wants me. Women? 19 women have come forward saying that Donald Trump sexually assaulted them and nothing is stuck. The judge in the case with E. Jean Carroll ruled he didn't touch her, but hated him anyway. And so found him guilty, right? If that's not working, if you cannot damage him, if in fact the reverse is going on and his popularity is growing, you get real desperate and you will go after surrogates as the collateral damage. And that is what's going on. It's been 3 years since January 6th, ladies and gentlemen. It's been 3 years since that election. Has everybody moved on? I have. I reserve the right to have questions. I don't believe anything that these people tell us. I don't believe 2020 was either safe or secure. I don't believe January 6th was even remotely what they want us to believe. And all of the evidence proves to us that we are correct. The same way all of the evidence proves to us that we are correct, that Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and their Biden crime family syndicate sold access and influence and got rich off of it. Period. End of story. You can sit there, you can spin it, you can try to create other allegations against other people, you can point fingers, you can smoke screen, you can blame Donald Trump, you can do all of that. And it does not change the idea that we all know the truth because we've been lied to too many times. But this is particularly dirty. And this just shows you the spitefulness of the Department of Justice. This is the spitefulness of a vacuous and malignant Merrick Garland. And if Mitch McConnell did one of anything right, it's to say hell's no to him as a Supreme Court nominee. Maybe that's the only reason he was valuable. Okay. But this headline from Blaze Media. Blaze News investigative writer Steve Baker says FBI wants him to self-surrender Friday in Dallas over his January 6th reporting. Wait, what? Blaze News investigative journalist Steve Baker said the FBI wants him to self-surrender to the agency Friday morning in Dallas over his January 6th reporting. 3 years ago? Really? Baker told Blaze News he's been instructed to turn himself in at the agency's field office at 7 a.m. wearing shorts and sandals, which he said signals that the plan likely is to go for humiliation and place him in an orange jumpsuit, handcuff him, and do the prisoner transport routine. I want to take a shower just freaking reading that. This is not gamesmanship, ladies and gentlemen, in America. To the left, it is. It is out for blood. We don't care. We will destroy anybody in our path. Liberty and justice for all doesn't exist in Joe Biden's America. He added, this is the reporter, Mr. Baker, that after he's taken to the Dallas courthouse, he'll appear at a 10 a.m. hearing before a federal magistrate. They didn't have to go this route, he told Blaze News. We've been told that my charges are only misdemeanors, and my attorneys have been assured that this will be an in and out affair with no intention to detain me, but rather than issuing a simple order to appear, they went the arrest warrant route. This is no different than sending in SWAT members, FBI, hot, long guns, shields, armored vehicles, bulletproof vests to knock on a father of seven's door and drag him in. It's optics. It's for the photo op. That's what it is. It's disgusting. What's more, Baker says he still does not know what the charges are against him. What the hell am I being accused of that you expect me to go and surrender to you for? What did I do? Well, you're on a need-to-know basis, and sadly, that need is not yours. Really? Really? What's more, Baker says he still does not know what the charges are against him, noting to Blaze News that the powers won't tell his attorneys about the charges because they believe Baker will post them on social media. So you know what you're doing is wrong. You don't want them to be exposed in advance. You want an aha trappy moment, kind of like January 6th. So weird, isn't it? Baker's Dallas attorney, a guy named James Bright, added to Blaze News that withholding the nature of the charges against his client is really unusual. Is it? Bright also says he's hoping to get a copy of the complaint against Baker as early as tomorrow morning. Guy still doesn't know what's going on, why they want him, but we do know certain things which kind of fill in some of the holes here. This is Baker speaking. This is the journalist for Blaze Media, conservative news outlet. This is Glenn Beck's outlet. This guy Baker was doing stories. He reported on January 6th. DOJ doesn't like his coverage, and so now they're coming to take him out. Quote, we do not know if there will be pretrial travel restrictions, although that's been the norm for J6 defendants, even for misdemeanor defendants, Baker said. It's also been universal that no J6ers are allowed to travel to Washington, D.C., which for obvious reasons will have a deleterious effect on my work. We also don't know if there will be any other accompanying restrictions or orders. Gag order from talking about my case, no social media, limited social media, order to surrender devices and or firearms, all unknown. Hey, they can do whatever the hell they want. They've been doing it for years. The attorney in the case, Bright, told Blaze News that he's disturbed about what's transpiring with his client. I'd say so, especially given that Baker has been, quote, in full compliance all this time. He said the federal government, 3+ years it's taken them, 3+ years going after people who were legitimate functioning journalists that day. It's going to have an absolute chilling effect. Baker said this, I am not a depressive person, but I'm not happy about this. I've prayed, Lord, let this cup pass from me. But apparently it's not going to. However, he said it will be a relief to get the first step over with. Now, this is very interesting. These charges hanging over him for years. So what's the background here? Well, apparently, Baker announced in December that the FBI said the U.S. Department of Justice would be charging him for his January 6th reporting. But 2 days later, noted that the FBI said his self-surrender was going to be postponed until after Christmas. It's been a waiting game ever since. Last month, attorneys representing Baker told Blaze News that the U.S. Department of Justice may be orchestrating a retaliation against Baker over his January 6th reporting. This is not liberty and justice for all. This is don't you dare freaking tell the truth. Don't tell me what a threat to democracy anybody else is. Your democracy is gone. Steve's actions on January 6th have been known to the Department of Justice for 3 years. But it's only now, after Steve has broken 2 major stories, greatly embarrassing to the DOJ, that he's possibly being targeted for arrest and possibly felony prosecution. Any action taken to put him in handcuffs, hold him in custody, and have him transported to court by federal law enforcement will be nothing other than retaliation for his recent reporting. This is no surprise. This is what they did to January 6ers. This is what they did to Matt Perna. We're going to drag out your case. We're going to bog you down. We're going to absolutely blanket you in unaffordable litigation. We are going to sully your name to your neighbors. We're going to drop information to the press. And if they don't report on it, they know damn well what's coming their way next. It is the weaponization of the federal government against the people. Every single day. And Hunter Biden wants to get up and he wants to drop lines like this before House oversight as he lies through his teeth about the obvious Biden crime family syndicate and Joe Biden's role in it, using words like partisan political pursuit, MAGA motivated conspiracies, and a partisan house of cards, frantic search to prove lies. This is exactly what the DOJ is doing against this gentleman who is a journalist for a conservative news outlet. Chilling effect, sending a message. And you know, a lot of us on the right have been impacted by it. We haven't stood up, and we haven't spoken out, and we haven't pushed back. And we haven't spoken to people in our orbits, and we haven't pushed back on their narratives of ill-educated nonsense and propaganda and said, do you have any idea what you're talking about? Because I know that what you're spewing is bullcrap. And if you want to get into the facts of it and leave your emotions at the door, I'm happy to go. Let's roll. But the chilling effect has had its purpose. Don't be afraid anymore. They can't come after all of us. They can't destroy every Amos Miller out there. They can't take on every Mark Howe or every Scott Smith whose daughter was raped in the bathroom at school. They want to, but they can't. You need to know about these cases because they continue to this day. Americans' rights, their liberty and their justice for all is being stolen. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk about this Mid-Vermont Christian school. Remember that? The coach who pulled out his girls' basketball team because they were supposed to go up against a team with a transgender student. I love this. You need it. Next.
I had to break some bad news.
To?
One of the people in the chat, he said you were singing to him.
I was singing?
And you, Africa, every day, you, Toto.
Oh, I look in and I look at you.
You're not singing to him, though. And I told him facts are facts, and that's very distraught.
Why?
He said I had a gummy problem.
Why does he not? Why is it wrong for him to think that I'm singing to him? Because I am. I'm singing to everybody.
Everybody. He's telling people to hush up because you're singing to him. So you're singing to everyone.
I actually am.
He's not special.
Of course he's special.
Oh, he's pulling out that's your truth. No, that's the truth.
Wow.
This is mighty liberal of him.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
I like where this is going. So what do we have? We have 3.3 rumbles. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. This guy's broken some stories that are embarrassing to the DOJ of suck. And this is your retaliation, right? Now, what is it about this coach of this Mid-Vermont Christian school?
He's done. He's done.
Plus,
I don't want my kids to get hurt. He's done.
Once you're done, you don't go back. You can't dibble dabble. Once you're like, you can't con me back into your team. Not going to happen. God, I really have to go to the bathroom.
You saw I had to jump up. I was like, all of a sudden, hit me like a power surge.
Hey, don't be jumping in on those. That's a very special. That's a very special, overwhelming rush of hot.
Poor Salty.
Oh, why? Is that the person?
Mm-hmm. He's, it is what it is. I thought we were all about transparency and truth and honesty. Apparently, he wants to play by his own rules, and well, you'll have that.
This is one of those full circle stories that is, I think, necessary.
I only hate on liberals. I'm not hating on him.
Because there are quiet people out there who, without the pomp or circumstance, just do what is right. And then when the claws come out, they're like, all right, let's go. Because you can't impact my values. You can't bully me into switching my values and beliefs. They're baked into me, baby.
No price. That's what it all comes down to. People don't have a price.
It's one of those stories that when I see video on my social media news feed, I'm scrolling up, I go right past it. It's video that shows men, boys, pretending to be girls and playing against girls and hurting girls. And it's sort of like watching video of a bad guy creeping up against somebody and then smashing him in the back of the head with a brick. I can't, I just can't. And I have to go past them. Because it's everything that is so stupid and wrong, and everybody knows it. And yet only a rare few, sometimes it's only one, who stands up and says, no more, I'm done. I'm not playing by your game. I don't believe in your rules. There is nothing that you can threaten me with which will encourage me to violate my values. I'm not going to change who I am or the fabric of who I am that was based on my life growing up. I was taught to be better. I'm always intrigued, though, by these small voices who don't do big things because they want a spotlight. They just do big things because they're the right things to do. So that's going to take us to Vermont, this mid-Vermont Christian school. And you'll remember the story because the coach was like, look, we're going to pull out. We're not going to go. We're going to forfeit this game. We've got a transgender player on the opposing team. We're just going to forfeit this game. I'm not interested in my players getting injured. Whatever. This is what it is. And then the liberal chaos in Vermont broke free. So here's a story, Breitbart. The Vermont high school, and you're going to hear this coach. And I think that's what's the relevant point here. So hang tight with me just for a second. The Vermont high school girls basketball coach who forfeited a game when he discovered that a male playing as a girl was on the opposing team is defending his actions even after being banned from coaching by the left-wing state's education officials. Chris Goodwin, who's the coach of the Mid-Vermont Christian School girls basketball team, appeared on the February 26 broadcast of a program to speak of his experience and defend his decision not to play against a transgender opponent. It is not complicated. This is cut and dry. It is right versus wrong. It is north is still north. I'm not going to put my girls up to play against a boy. Because boys are stronger and faster, and everybody freaking knows it. Audio soundbite number 1. Here is Chris Goodwin. He is the coach, and he's going to talk to you about his decision and the fallout that ensued when he decided to, with the team, the parents, and the players, in agreement, decided to yank the team from playing against this trans player. Go.
In the middle of the season last year, we were informed by other coaches and other players in the league that there was a male athlete playing for another team in our division. Now, this other team was not on our schedule during the year, but we did see that there was a possibility that we might end up playing them in the playoffs and being seeded against them. And as the season did come to an end, that was the scenario that worked itself out. So after discussions with the administration and our players and parents, we decided that instead of going against our religious beliefs that, there are differences between male and female and we are created differently, we decided to forfeit that game and withdraw from the tournament. And at that point, the state of Vermont governing body kicked us out of all athletic competitions in the state.
There you go. There you go. That is called punitive. Biden's punitive America. The governing body, the Vermont Principals Association of Suck, banned Mid-Vermont from all athletic events after Goodwin's forfeiture, claiming that the school violated state laws that allow male-born kids to play on any school girls team. The governing body published a statement saying that Mid-Vermont has every right to teach its belief to its own students, but cannot, however, impose those beliefs on students from other public and private schools, deny students from other schools the opportunity to play, or hurt students from other schools because of who those students are. It is emotion-based. It is dripping with liberal suck. It's exactly what you get when you don't pay attention to who the people are running for various positions. It begins at the local level. And this is Coach Chris Goodwin better underscoring why he's not changing his ideas. He will not change his views. He is who he is, period. And he's got four very special reasons why.
I've got 4 daughters. I've coached them all at one point in their careers playing high school basketball. I've also filled in for the boys coach when he can't make a practice, and I've run those practices. And boys just play at a different speed, a different force, than the girls play at. It's a different game. So I would never bring my girls to a boys practice or have the boys come into our practice and say to them, hey, we're going to scrimmage today. We're going to go game speed, because it is just asking for an injury. And it'd be irresponsible on my part to put my girls and my daughter on the court to play against male athletes.
It is refreshing. And that is why we chose to end the show with this particular story. His battle is not over. His clarity is undeniable, and it is refreshing, and it touches that person in each of us and encourages us. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of the fallout. You be you. You be you to the best of your ability. Because at the end of the day, nobody can take that from you. And these men and these women, some powerful leaders, some quiet leaders behind the scenes, are showing everybody how it's done. It's not complicated to stand up for what you believe in and to see what is at stake in this country if we don't. I'm Wendy Bell. I want to thank you guys for being here day after day. We so enjoy spending these 3 hours with you. Hey, next time, grab a friend. Grab a friend and come back. Until then, have a great day, everybody. Love you. Peace.